Welcome back to another episode of The Stupidest Podcast with your hosts, Justin Rademacher and the newly bearded, beautiful, always beautiful. And, he's just got something about his eyes, you know? There's something about his eyes that are just beautiful. His teeth, he's got good-looking teeth. And his nose hairs. Oh, man, don't get me started about his nose hairs.
I feel like you're sucking up from last episode. Hey guys, it's the other host, Justin Vandeventer. What's going on, guys? Missed you.
Missed you too, man. I think they missed us. We missed them. I missed you. You missed me, and we both miss Joe. We got a special guest on this episode.
Special,
Yes, we do.
more ways than one.
We got Joe on the episode. This is actually our second time recording with Joe. So we've already had a discussion with him before, but unfortunately the audio wasn't great. So we're actually recording for a second time, but you guys are only able to hear this for the first time. So, but I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun getting to relearn some of the stuff, and then I want to kind of dive a little deeper, so we get a chance to get as deep as possible with this one, I feel.
Sweet.
Good to me.
But before we get into it, though, how have you been, man? Vandy?
Good, man. Been working a shit ton.
Yeah, you've always been working a shit ton, though.
Doesn't ever quit, man.
Yeah.
Go, 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 go.
Well,
Gracie starts school next week.
that's good. How's she
First
feel?
grade. Let's go.
How's she feeling about that?
She's excited.
Yeah.
My youngest starts preschool tomorrow.
Oh, nice. You guys got girls, girl, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I
Two.
thought. Two girls. Yep. They around the same age. That's kind of cool.
3 and 9. Yeah, the 9-year-old's gonna be in 4th grade.
Yeah. Dang, that's cool.
Mine's 7. So,
Nice. I got one. No, I don't have any. I have 0.
I was say, where do you hide it? So that back room with the padlock on it was for?
Oh yeah, I don't like to talk about my child. Oh, just kidding. That would be horrible.
playoffs. I got golf playoffs tomorrow.
Oh, that's nice.
Won the first round. Let's go for the second round. Let's go.
There you go. Keep that going.
I'll probably work for 10 hours and drink unnecessary amounts of whiskey. Tell some jokes.
Yeah, we got to tell jokes tomorrow. Do you tell jokes? Do you tell jokes while you're golfing?
Actually, I do. Quite a bit.
Like, do you do your bits and stuff, or do you like just obviously?
I do a couple of them.
Okay.
I do have a couple that I do during golf.
Yeah, that's cool. Who's on your team again? I don't remember who's on your team.
For now,
Oh, nice. Okay. Sweet.
we've been partners for 12 years now.
Is it just you two? Okay, I guess I didn't know that. I thought it was kind of like bowling where like you had like bigger teams.
It's just us two, and then Dad and Pete are on a team, and then all the boys are out there too.
Okay.
This is with Jonesy. Ryan is with Brandon Kraft.
Nice.
Trav's with Myron. There's a whole bunch of guys out there.
Yeah.
That, you know,
Sweet.
what's new with you?
Not a whole lot new. I mean, kind of the same old, same old. I've been working at the casino, playing disc golf, doing jokes every Thursday. Every now and then I get to do some other opportunities. Like we got a new one on Sunday nights at T-Bones. I've been trying to go there. I've only been there once, but that was fun. Trying to get to Tuesday nights, but I have disc golf league that night, so it's tough. Unless it's bad weather, then I'll go there. But
Yeah, you missed an absolute nightmare show yesterday. It was bombed for like an hour and a half. It was great.
oh man, yeah, I remember reading a little bit about that, and Patrick even sent a picture of what had happened, but it was just gravestones.
Almost got stabbed by a mentally unstable person. That was fun.
That's not great. But that happens in comedy, I would imagine.
All kinds of characters.
Nah, I haven't had an experience like that yet, but I feel like it's just bound to happen if you're in comedy.
Or yeah, West Duluth.
or just West Duluth. Or the cities, or lots of places that could potentially happen. But yeah, otherwise just kind of doing that stuff. Just got done playing around a disc golf at the house, which was kind of fun. I literally was on hole 18 while Joe came in, so it was kind of neat. But I got my ankle, so I'm hurting there for a little bit, but can't complain too much. But yeah, otherwise, same old, same old. How about you, Joe? Anything besides Tuesday?
Yeah, same old shit. Working 4 days a week. Got my kids every weekend.
Yeah.
Coming up on birthdays and school starting, and fall's always interesting.
Nah, starting to get busy.
Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I don't think I've been home till 11 o'clock at all this week.
Oh, wow.
Or later.
Yeah. Yeah, I got another one tonight with the podcast. We don't know exactly how long it goes, so that's the tough part.
Yeah, especially with guests, it's been varying.
Yeah, I know, like, I don't even know whose was longer. I think Sydney's was longer, wasn't it? Or was...
Sydney's was longer. That was like 4 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I haven't really listened to all the Frankie one yet.
Yeah.
I just started your newest one, I think. I'm actually all caught up on my podcast. I'm out now.
Oh, no. It's a great feeling, but also at the same time, you're just like, oh, well, now if I get a chance to listen to anything, what am I going to listen to, you know?
Yeah. These are Skanks on Friday.
Yeah. I'll sometimes go back and re-listen to some podcasts, too. I like doing that every now and then.
I don't know. I've never been able to do that. Movies or anything. Like, I hate, like, rewatching them. Sitcoms. Like, I watched Home Improvement with my daughter like a year ago. I'm never watching it again. I watched the whole thing from beginning to end. It was great, but I'm never watching it again.
Yeah. Yeah, I like doing that too sometimes. There's certain TV series where I'll watch like the whole thing and I'm like, oh, that was so fun. But yeah, I don't need to see anything of that again. But then there's other ones like The Office where I'll just continuously watch it and be entertained.
I just started The Shield. I know I'm like 2 decades late, but it's pretty great.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. It's like a dirty cop. Kind of. Huh. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's crazy. It was like a huge thing on FX back in like 2005, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Well, I know I've heard about it. I've just never actually seen it. But, well, sweet. Do you guys want to get into it?
Sure.
Sweet. Let's get into it. So I guess we're just going to do a few questions with you, Joe. We're going to tell you 10 questions. Then if you have any questions for us, we'll go over that. And then we'll have 10 more questions for you after that. So we'll have quite the podcast. We're going to have lots of questions for you. So, and we'll answer some of them too if we feel like we need to, but otherwise we're also going to deviate from these and ask you some other questions and such.
All right.
So, well, sweet. Well, my first question for you is, what inspired you to get into stand-up comedy?
I mean, I guess I was always a class clown. I've always liked making people laugh. Like, I remember just like being a dick and just screaming and making all the kids laugh. I'll never forget the feeling it gave me, but I never really connected it to being able to do this. But when I saw Robin Williams do stand-up live, it was Live at the Met was his special, and it's I mean, I probably shouldn't have seen it at 12. He talks about like Jesus and bloody crosses and like old man piss, but it's pretty good. And ever since then I thought about it, thought how awesome it would be to do it, and I didn't really even know there was an option until I was like 27. I found out about Dublin's.
Yeah.
Then I started there, and that was 5 years now, 5.5.
So once you found it, you just kept doing it.
Yeah, except for the pandemic. My ex wasn't a huge fan of it, but
yeah, I had that too. Like my ex, like just wasn't into it for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know.
Mine wasn't into being faithful either.
Yeah,
we need a drum set, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's tough. Like if you are with somebody that's not like, it doesn't matter what your passion is, but if they're not like supportive of your passion, that's tough.
Like, why are you going out and doing it for free? Because that's how it works. All right.
Yeah.
Entertainment's a terrible career choice.
Yeah. My ex told me, she's like, why do you want to get into stand up? Like, she's like, do you see yourself being a professional? I'm like, maybe, depending on if I'm good enough, but like, I just do it because I enjoy it. And she's like, well, if you're not going to do it to be a professional, then why even do it? I'm like, well, why do you play Candy Crush all the time if you're not going to be a professional Candy Crush player? Like, I don't know.
She didn't support. She didn't support you in a lot of things, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not a great fit. But no, so I'm just saying I understand where you're coming from on that
Yeah.
aspect at least.
Yeah, it was stuff.
No. But is there anything else that like inspired you to like continue doing it?
Well, I mean, I remember it's kind of a shitty thing to say, but I know a lot of comics have this reaction. I went to the open mic and I saw a couple people that were just fucking god awful. Like, I know I'm funnier than them, but I didn't really think my jokes were great, and I didn't know if they're gonna work, and I was freaking out when I first saw them on stage. I almost blacked out and I was almost passed out. But
Oh, Joe, Roddy is sitting right there. You don't need to talk.
I remember getting up there and I did my jokes, and I remember the feeling of just everyone in the room laughing and being just in disbelief that people laughed at the words in my mouth. And I remember going home to my old house where I live with my ex, and it's like standing outside looking at the sky like, why didn't I find this before? Like, this feels like what I'm supposed to do. Whether it's professional or not, it just feels like, I don't know, it's helped me get a lot of stuff out. So
Well, yeah, and you like it's something that you connect with like on a personal level because of your material. Like you use material that's personal and close to you.
Yeah.
And so like that is very helpful and like it's therapeutic like in that aspect because I don't know. I don't have that necessarily with my material because I'm like a one-liner and
Yeah.
a lot of my stuff isn't actually real.
Well, I mean, I have the joke about how both my ex and I got fucked in the divorce. Like, for me, it was financially. For her, it was 11 other dudes in my bed. Like, that stems from, like, finding all that stuff out was literally the worst moment of my life, and it was the easiest joke I've ever written.
Yeah.
Like, I've been telling it for 2 years now, and I've barely changed a word in it.
Well, I mean, you don't have to because
No,
it came out exactly the
Yeah.
way it needed to come out.
Yeah.
I love that joke. It's because it is like you said, it's very personable and like, but people can also connect with that. Like,
Yeah. Or, like, I was in an open marriage, but my ex forgot to tell me.
that's another. I like that one too. It sucks that like you had to go through that in order to get that joke, but like, at least you're able to find the humor in it. You know?
Yeah, it took a long time.
Yeah.
Everybody's journey is different, though. We all got our shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people have other stuff that they go through, but then they use that in their material, and so like, yeah, like sometimes it's relationships, sometimes it's work, sometimes it's family members, sometimes it's friends, and
Yeah.
people getting fucked over all sorts of ways.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm an observational comic, because that seems like, I don't know, maybe it's situational. I don't know. But really, almost everything I write is from something I see somebody else do or something I went through. I mean, I dramatize it, obviously, and play it up, but
Well, I mean, yeah, that's part of it. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be able to make it into the joke. Like, you can't just like if you tell everything that was exactly true, then it's not going to be a joke. It's going to be a story, and which
well, that's what pisses me off about comedians getting in trouble for saying things. Like, it's quoted out of context, and comedy
Yes.
out of context makes you look like a psychopath.
yeah, yeah,
But they weren't there in the moment, and the way it was, and the energy, and
yeah.
it all plays into it.
Yeah, no, that's. I don't understand why people decide to like just take things out of context like that. That makes zero sense. Like, you could take anything out of context and make anybody look like an asshole.
Yeah.
Like, that's like one thing that kind of scares me with the podcast is because I've said a lot of things about my life or people around me and stuff like that. But like, if it was taken out of context, I could look like an asshole. Or sometimes even if it's in context, I'll look like an asshole.
Yeah. I feel like it got so ridiculous, it's kind of going the other way now. People are kind of like, yeah. I don't know. It seems the whole
Yeah, but
canceling thing.
I think people are starting to not even care.
Yeah. Especially in comedy. I mean, we're supposed to push the boundaries. We're supposed to say things that you're not supposed to say. Like, that's what comedy is.
Yeah, you're supposed to be able to push it to the line. Obviously, you don't want to necessarily go over the line. Sometimes you do step over it, but I mean,
Yeah, it depends on, I mean, by stepping over the line by it's inappropriate, it depends. Because, I mean, if you step over the line and the audience doesn't like it, then, I I mean, the audience kind of dictates
Yeah.
how your show goes. So
Yeah, and the line can be at different places for different audiences
Yeah,
or
yeah.
audience members. Sometimes, like, because there's some people where, like, if you have a good set, they still might not like it because you crossed their line.
that's what Johnny Cash's song "Walk Lime" is about. Was about like talking about dead babies, and
He likes to talk about dead babies.
all right, that didn't work like I thought it was going to.
No, I liked it. I know what you're talking about. Walk. He likes to walk tightropes holding dead babies. Is that
Yeah.
what you were getting at?
Something like that.
Jesus.
Johnny Cash plus dead babies. There we go.
See, people taking this out of context, that probably wouldn't look good for us. But since it's in context, I think we look like angels.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right, Joe. What style of comedy do you perform on stage? Do you like the style you have? And if not, what style would you want to do?
Well, like I kind of mentioned, I guess I call it observational comedy. It's just about things I see in my life and personal things and things I feel. And I don't know. I don't do politics. I don't really do one-liners. Which, I mean, in one way is good too. And but that's one reason I like it is because you can't steal my material. Somebody comes up on stage like, "Hey, everybody, my name is Joe Mosier." Like, no, it's not. What the fuck? What the fuck? Get out of here. My material is not really easy to steal because, I mean, and also a lot of it comes from the way I feel about it and the way I process things is different than the way somebody
So your
else might.
comedy is
Yeah.
really personal.
Yeah, definitely. And I do like it. It's very cathartic too. I think that's the right word. But just gets shit out, and I don't know. I really get lost in front of the mic, but and I don't necessarily not like my style, but I wouldn't mind getting better at crowd work, one-liners, things to like grab attention real quick because sometimes you lose the crowd and a 3-minute bits is going to make them mad. Like sometimes you need something quick to get them back or quick to get their attention. Or
Yeah, and I like the fact that like we've done shows like that in the past where you get a chance to do that kind of stuff. Like obviously I'm a one-liner, so like when we had that one-liner contest,
yeah,
obviously that one was built towards like my style. Even though I didn't win,
I couldn't
but that's
believe I
'cause
made
was so
top
new.
5. That was nuts.
Yeah,
but
that
I
was
didn't even
good.
do one-liners. I cheated and just used all my punchlines. but they still work.
But yeah, it still works. But no, I like the fact that we do like all these different shows, so that way you can do that. Like we had the one-liner, we had the one. I didn't do the one with the crowd work and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like at least we're like trying to test each other out and like help each other like get those new.
I'm excited for the roast battle at the end of the month. That should be
Yeah.
fun to watch. I'm going to judge, so.
Oh, nice! I'm gonna be in it. I'm excited to roast Frankie. She's my first one. So
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. See when Brandon comes up
You
with
got to roast
Pete.
Frankie.
yep, I get to roast Frankie. It's gonna be awesome. I already got my jokes down for her. I really wanna.
Yeah, I
do
got to
it.
say that, but I have to say that Frankie saved my life last night. I kind of yelled in a mentally unstable person's face and made him get off stage because he stole the mic, just ripped the mic out of one of the comics' hands. And he followed me outside, and Frankie came after him. Like, I thought he was going to stab you. Like, well, thanks. I didn't get stabbed, so that's cool.
Yeah.
He's pretty upset, though. He came over. He's like, why'd you tell me to get off the stage? I'm like, because you don't walk up on stage and grab the mic out of a comic's hand. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's insane.
And I don't let me say mentally unstable because I don't know. He
Yeah,
just wasn't. Wasn't acting like, I guess, normal. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, especially like if you don't know the situation, it's tough to judge. But then you also don't want to like have that be the case and then have something actually happen, and then you're just
Well, yeah, it's my open mic. I don't want people to think I'm just going to let people take the mic
Yeah.
from them. Like,
Yeah.
that's not cool.
yeah. You want the comics to feel safe about not only their material, but they want to physically feel safe on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it was interesting.
Yeah, that's nuts. Well, it's cool that Frankie was there to help you out,
Yeah.
because that's, yeah. No, it's gonna be fun though doing that roast battle. It's just gonna be cool because like I'm not that type of comedian to do that,
Yeah.
but like I have gotten out of my comfort zone to write jokes about that, and it's been really fun. And like it's just exciting to see if it's gonna work or not. Like,
Yeah.
I hope I advance to the next round, but if I don't, like it's still gonna be. It was still a fun experience leading up to it. So
Is it all going to be in one night?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yep, I think it's all one night, and we're going to do, like, each round you go against one other comedian.
Okay.
And then if you advance, because I think there's, like, 8 of us, so there's going to be 4 of us on one side, 4 of us on the other side of a bracket, and then kind of leading to the winner. And then the winner, I think, gets some prize money in 15 minutes.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing something like that, but I've done 2 15-minute sets now at Caddyshack, paid in front of a paid crowd. Like, now I'm kind of in like a development period. I got to get more material because I don't want to be doing the same thing. I don't know if we're getting return people, but I don't know. I might produce another one, get other comics on it, but I'm not ready for another one for a while. I want to get some more stuff built up.
How'd your last show go, Joe?
It was all right. I walked away with like, I paid out like $150. I walked away with like $250, so it wasn't bad. Could have been better, but
That's pretty good though. Like,
yeah, it was a free night of drinking, a couple extra bucks. So
there you go.
it was a pretty sweet deal we get there, man. I don't know where else you're gonna get 100% door.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. All right, so who are some of your biggest influences in comedy, and who is your favorite comedian right now?
I think the biggest influences are people like, you're probably not supposed to say this, but Louis C.K. is a big influence of mine. Like, just the way he...
he's on a comeback.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. He's already put out 2 more specials. His last one, Sorry, was amazing. Like, I've paid for both of them. Like, they're very good. But
Dude's
just
amazing.
the outrageousness. I like Gilbert Gottfried, too, because... Well, maybe not some. I like unnecessary anger, so I like to think of... Who's the really angry comic? That's like his whole thing.
Oh, wow, I lost his name now.
Yeah.
I had it and lost it. Black.
Louis Black.
Louis Black.
Yeah, Louis Black is another one I've always wanted to, because I have a lot of anger, and that comes out on stage sometimes in not such a good way. I've always wanted to be able to channel it like him, because he always makes it so great. And I mean, I listen to Joe Rogan, Tom Segura, Bert Kreischer, Dan Cummins, a lot of these comics. I'm sure they all influenced me somehow. Dave Attell is another one. But I think my favorite comic right now, based on his last special, is probably Bill Burr.
Okay.
But before that, I mean, Bill Burr and Chappelle are right up there on the top. It's really hard to pick one.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, but who doesn't like Bill Burr and
Dan
Chappelle?
Cummins lives up by you guys, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lives in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So it's like 8 hours away. Yeah, something like that. 12 hours away. I don't know. But I'd say, I guess everyone everyone likes Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle. Like, what comic doesn't, unless they're insane?
Yeah.
But I like Legion of Skanks a lot. Big J. Okerson, Dave Smith, and Louis J. Gomez. I'd say Jay Okerson's my favorite crowdwork comic ever. He's just my favorite off the cuff comic ever. He's hilarious. Like,
oh yeah,
just listen to him talking on his
he
bonfire
should be bigger
show.
than what he is.
Yeah, and that bonfire show. Just listen to do all the voices and different. He's great. He makes everything. He's like the dude in your friend group that makes everything fun. like this is boring, and he's out taking his shirt off and I don't know, doing crazy shit. Like, yeah, he's great.
Dan Soder's awesome.
Yep, another guy. There's a lot of New York on Mark Norman too. I can't leave him out. He's top of the top right now too.
oh yeah.
Man, his one-liners are just great. I really like Brody Stevens before he died. Well, he had one of my favorite jokes was, I never heard my parents having sex. I just smelt it. It's pretty great.
I don't think I've heard that one. That's pretty good.
He's a really obscure comic, like Comedy Store comic, and I only really knew about him because of all the comics I listened to, all the podcasts, and he was like this. I don't know. He's Brody Stevens. You got to look it up. It's hard to explain.
Is this?
Brody Stevens?
Brody was awesome.
Yeah, he has a special where one guy, in the middle of the show, somebody leaves and he just stops like, "How dare you!" Like just yelling at him in the middle of his special. Like, this is my special taping. I've lived in LA my entire life.
He was just about to blow up before.
Yeah. Everyone
before he committed suicide.
Yeah. He's a troubled guy, like a lot of
He's
us.
in The Hangover.
Yeah. That's one of his. That was another thing he said, like, "How
Hangover,
dare
and then
you?
he's
I
in,
was in The Hangover. This is my comedy special." Just yelling at people is great.
That's awesome.
He's in Due Date too.
Really?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he drove Zach Galifianakis to the airport.
Nice.
I think that's. I mean, the
Supposedly
more I have
next to Bert.
the more I have a chance to talk, I'm just gonna keep adding more because there's Shane Gillis.
Shane's
Yeah.
blowing up right now
Just
too.
Yeah.
explosive. Ari Shafir, The Amazing Racist. Those are some of my favorite sketches ever.
Yeah.
And I thought they were real. I thought they were real for so long but he hired actors, and it's like a union job. Like, but it's like, I mean, he's like, almost gets beaten up by a guy because he's like, all right, this is not. I didn't do this. He wrote this, but he's standing in front of a ship on the shore, with watermelon, trying to get, or it's got a sign on it, this is free watermelon, and he's inviting an obvious group of people to come with him on the ship. And it looks like he really gets beat up, but apparently it was all an act. But it was so good, it looked real. Another one where he does no, I shouldn't be explaining racial things like that. It's terrible. You got to look it up. Amazing Racist.
Have you seen Ari's mustache?
Not recently, no.
Oh God, it's terrible.
I don't know. I wanted to
bad.
take part in Shroomfest, but my connection disappeared, so I can't do it.
What was that going to be about?
It looks like Ari has a comb below his nose.
Ari Shafir every year, it's an unofficial thing. It's called Shroomfest. He just like picks a week. He's like, we all do mushrooms, so then like we all spiritually come together, all tripping at the same time. Which I don't know.
So this is for anybody that's like, everybody's welcome.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
And if you take it, apparently, if you could take it and prove it or show him, he'll send you a T-shirt.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Like just saying that you were a part of the group.
Yeah,
that
like
did
I
it.
participated in Shroomfest 2022 or something like that.
That's cool.
But I
So
think it's next week. So
Okay, so you got to prove that you were a part of it.
yeah.
Interesting. Is there like a certain amount that you have to take in order to like have him consider it?
No, it's not specified, but I mean, who eats less than a quarter?
Yeah.
Oh, allegedly.
Allegedly. I like how you added that.
All right, Joe. When was the first time you ever went on stage? And what was it like? And where did you start?
What was Dublin's? Let's see, 7 years ago. So 2015, maybe late 2015, 2016. And me and my buddy, best friend, actually, I grew up with him. We went to preschool together. Shout out Jacob LaRue. Like, he doesn't listen to podcasts, so whatever. But he's a good dude. And he went there with me to watch it for 6 weeks. I just creeped in the corner and snuck out at the end of the show. And this guy, Scott Zank, was running it at the time. And I asked him, like, hey, man, what's up? Like, what do I got to do? And he told me what to do and sign up. And I wrote my first 5 minutes. And, well, I thought it was my first 5 minutes. I got up there. I performed it in about 2.5 and then ran away. But after that, I was hooked. I mean, that was it right there.
Was it like in your opinion, do you think you had a good set that the very first time?
Yeah, I still have a recording of it, though. And I listened to it like 2 months ago. It's not as good as I thought it was.
Oh. I mean, I feel like almost everybody's experience. Like my experience, like I thought I did pretty well. Like I didn't record it, which I kind of regret, but it was like in the basement at what's
Keller?
it called? No, I was actually in St. Cloud. It was St. Cloud though. It was in the basement of Atwood on campus. They had just an open mic going on, and I did one of my bits. It was I wrote down LOL 6 times, and I like wrote how it can be used differently. So it had like 6 different pictures that I used for LOL. It wasn't really that funny, but at the time I thought it was hilarious. Like I thought I was going to be the next big thing, but it obviously was not what I actually thought in my head what it was.
I kind of remember my first set was. I talked about having muscular dystrophy. I talked about my mom helped me get laid for the first time. Unknowingly. She wasn't like pushing my hips or anything like that.
This
was another girl though, right? It wasn't.
No, it was Max. I've only been with one. I was
No, I'm saying it wasn't your mom. It wasn't.
No.
Sorry, I had to go there.
No, that was
You
my.
can confess your sins now, Joe, if you really need to.
This is the time I admit I banged my mom. Like, Jesus Christ! Now I can't tell my parents about this podcast.
That was a joke, everybody. Just so everybody's on the same page.
Yep. Yeah, totally a Joe. Definitely a Joe.
But no, that's cool. Like that's you went like for the personal stuff right away then.
Yeah, that's all it's ever been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing about Robin Williams. Like I saw him talking about like he turned like not like old man peeing into a like 14-minute bit with him like with a water bottle like spraying piss everywhere, and then like talking about how cats do it. Now cats are always trying to show you their ass. Like who likes kitty? Who loves kitty? Like just him talking about shit that he went through in his real life and just stuff that he saw. Like I mean, I always thought of Robin Williams is kind of like a dork, you know, like haha.
Yeah.
Haha, like I don't know, he's probably the Family Guy or American Dad captures it perfectly. Like, oh yeah, no, yeah, it's Family Guy because it's like, what time does a doctor go to the dentist? 2:30. Get it? Haha. And then,
Yeah. Well, I mean, because that's some of the roles he played in his movies
Yeah.
were like that. So I mean, that's why some people have that view of him.
I know. Good Morning Vietnam. This is the first time I've used a mic like this. I feel like it. Can I do it?
Do it.
Good morning, Vietnam. All right, I'm happy now. Fine, now I can die.
That was funny.
Great
I like
movie.
that.
Great movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, if it's your first time using this, I'm gonna take I got to take a picture of him, and then we'll use that as. We'll do that. I'm gonna take a picture of you, Joe, even though it's like connected to Vandy's sound. Hopefully, I don't mess this up. Here we go. Oops, that's me.
It doesn't mess me up.
Oh, it's not gonna mess you up. You're good.
Got the smartphones.
Boom, I got him. Sweet. I'm gonna do me too. Why not? And then I'll get Vandy in there too.
Would you do me? I'd do me.
Oop. Okay, now I'm gonna get Vandy. All right, I know this is very bad. It's actually gonna be all three of us. Joe, you got to look at your phone, so we're all in it.
Buddy.
Oh, how come it's not catching? Oh, there we go. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
3, 1.
Sweet. I think I got it. Yep. Oh, I'm not really looking at the picture. Oh well. I'll send you all three of those so that way we can get them all up there. We're all
Good.
2 of us are using our mics. You're using your headphones because you're calling from way far away. Well, sweet. What? So, do you feel like your first time is the reason why you continue to use your personal stuff, or is that just the most comfortable for you?
That's just always what I've joked about. I don't know. It's always been the most comfortable for me and the easiest. And like having a muscular disease, like it's helped to just get it out there. Like there's nothing I can do about it. It's not going away. It's just gonna get worse. Like I can't just spend my whole life being sad about it. You know, I gotta find some way to vent it, get it out. Like save my divorce. Like it actually was very healing afterwards. I mean, I was drinking a lot and doing stupid shit. I probably shouldn't stay out loud being on probation, but I was just making a lot of bad decisions right after my separation, and like,
Yeah.
that really kind of helped bring me out of a hole. But yeah, I guess I just like how it feels to get that stuff out. And I've written a couple jokes that like aren't about that. Like I have one like about like how does a baby centaur work? Like horses can run full speed like right away, but babies can't lift their head for like 6 weeks. So all I can picture is just like a baby flopping off the end of a horse, like running through a field, But I don't really write a lot of jokes like that. And another thing too is like if I write jokes like and try to like lie, it doesn't feel right, and I'll like correct myself on stage. Like actually, I didn't do that. I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
So truth, that works a lot for me too.
Yeah, I understand that. I really like that centaur bit. I haven't heard you say that, so I need to hear that bit on stage now. But yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying though, like because I do the same thing. I'll lie on stage. Like I'll say in one joke, I'll say, "Oh, I have a girlfriend," and then like 3 jokes later, I'll say I'm single. You know, like I'm like I create like a different universe for each of my jokes. So I'm trying to figure out a way to like bring crowd work into that. I don't know if it would work or not, but I kind of want to like talk with somebody at the beginning of my set. But it's tough to do in 5 minutes. But like if I have a longer set, I kind of want to incorporate like get like a friend in the audience and like tell them what's true and what's not true. So then that way I can connect with the audience a little bit through it.
Yeah.
I just need to figure out how to do that like and still make it funny. So
yeah, most of my stories are jokes. I mean, I embellish them and add to them, but they're all based in truth, like for the most part, based off a real event. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. Like you're supposed to have the setup is supposed to be true, and then the punch is that's where you can tweak.
Yeah.
But well, that's cool. No, I'm jealous because I know we talked about this with Sydney too about like how she uses personal stuff and like how that's therapeutic and like I haven't had that part of comedy. I've only like written jokes and it is therapeutic for me to like because I've been writing for so long that I just basically have had it built up and now
Yeah.
I'm actually able to like release what I've been doing because I did it for a little while in the cities but it just wasn't as much as I'm doing it here in Duluth and so like now I just feel free and like community is amazing so it's just so therapeutic and freeing to get it all out.
Well, yeah, I'm performing in a bar. I feel like I connect to people, and I talk about doing drugs in my life, bad choices I've made, trouble I've gotten in. A lot of people relate to that. A lot of people aren't. I don't know. It's more of a personal connection with people in the audience, I guess. Like I get a lot of people that have gone through the same kind of stuff as me, and kind of draws their attention, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it really connects with them, which is
Yeah.
which is either going to bring them back or you're going to be so memorable to them because of the connection you guys had.
Yeah, that's kind of what I like about Bert. He just puts it all out there. Like there are no secrets. I don't know if I could have that many eyes on me though.
Yeah, I have a joke about that, like, because I think it'd be fun to like be famous. I don't need to be famous though. Like I want to be famous enough where I can do comedy like full time. Like that
Yeah, if
that
I
would
could
be
just
the
make a
goal.
living, that'd be
Exactly.
great,
I would like to make a living. So I want to be famous enough for like somebody to be like, "Hey, have you heard this comedian named Roddy?" And then their friend says, "Nope." And then the conversation just sort of moves on.
Yeah.
But I think it's great though, because I think my jokes are perfect for not getting famous. So that's my joke about it.
Sweet.
But yeah. All right. How long? I guess we kind of already answered this question. But I guess we'll just kind of reiterate a little bit. But how long were you or have you been an open micer?
5 years. It was 5 years in April, so five.
Okay.
Five and some change. Almost 5.5 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I've done a couple paid shows here and there, but nothing substantial.
Yeah. Yeah. Do
Would
you
you say
like?
you're still an open micer, or do you think you're almost to a feature act? Or
No, I'm 20 minutes is probably my strongest set. So I guess I don't know. I feel like maybe I'm a host level,
Okay.
but not like I'm doing it. So. But yeah, I'm definitely not being able to do a half hour yet or an hour. Like I think I have the material. It's just putting it all together in a cohesive way and
Yeah.
remembering all of it. Just not there yet.
Well, that's the tough part for me. I have such a tough time remembering my jokes. Like I can memorize my jokes each individually, but I never memorize the order. Like that's why I always have my notes up there with me.
Yeah.
I just need to know what the next joke is, even if it's literally just a word, so I can kind of know what's coming next.
Yeah, that's all I do is bullet points for every joke.
Yeah.
That's why I got notes up there just so if I lose my place, I can look down. But
Yeah, that's exactly what I need. I just need some sort of a key as to what's coming up. But once I know what joke it is, like even if I had like an earpiece in, so somebody could tell me what my next joke was,
yeah,
all they'd have to say is the name of the joke, and I'd be like, oh, yep, and go right into
can
it.
I be that voice in your head, please? Can I be that voice in your head?
No, I want to do well. I don't want somebody to fuck with me. I want to be able to.
Oh, I'd fuck with you so hard.
I know. I need somebody that I trust you, but I need somebody that I can trust to actually get the job done and not try to mess with my set.
Depends on how big the show was. If it was a big show, I'd take it serious. But if it was just fucking around,
Nah.
I'd have a blast.
Oh, if it was an open mic, you'd let me hang there. I'd be looking for my next joke, and you'd just sit there in silence. Just
Oh no. I'd be like, see that dude, front row, second one in? I bet he has a 12-inch.
oh my god. So you wouldn't help me at all.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you
Yeah.
think? You just nod if you think so.
Yeah, and
Blink
then-
at me.
And then you're trying to start a conversation with me while I'm on stage trying to say jokes. Yeah, that'd be great.
oh geez, my phone's about to
You think
die.
I got a chance at that girl in the third row, huh? Do you? Can I go talk to her right now? What do you think? I mean, it's just your set. I don't.
Yeah.
I can fuck you up. I don't really care.
Joe, if your phone's gonna die, you don't have to have Zoom on if you
Yeah.
don't want to. You can turn it off.
I got a charger in the truck, but
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, we can charge it. I don't have one down here. I'm using it. Sorry. I'd help you out, but
well, no.
All right, Joe. How many times should you be going on stage every week? And do you think it matters?
Oh, it definitely matters. Yeah, well, all right. It definitely matters. I'd say as much as possible. Like you want to get up and, because one joke you could tell 1,000 different ways, and find the best way it works, the best words to put. I mean, I don't know. I think it's necessary to work on everything over and over and over again. It helps you remember it, and it helps you tell it better. So yeah, as much as you can. I only do it twice a week right now, but it's the best I can do. Trying to get stuff going here in Duluth, so yeah, gotta get another open mic on like a Wednesday.
yeah. Yeah, Wednesdays would be perfect for me. Unless we have a podcast, then I'd have to do the podcast after the open mic. But
Yeah, or even Monday night. I don't know.
yeah, I work Mondays.
Oh,
But I mean, I could still make it work.
yeah.
I make Sundays work, and I work on Sunday.
We did VIP for a long time. I haven't heard from the owner for a while. I don't know.
Maybe reach out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I know I had briefly talked to Black Bear about doing some stand up,
Yeah.
and I know we're trying to work something out. I don't know what day it would be, but it sounds like they actually want to do shows rather than an open mic.
Yeah, they used to do that. I actually worked with the guy that used to book it. How I forget his name. He used to book at Black Bear, but then he was booking at Danbury for a while, and I did a couple shows there. But those were
Okay.
shows with like national headliners. But wish I could
You
remember
should
his
see if we
name.
can do like a live podcast there.
That'd be fun. The only thing is, if we are able to get something going at the casino, I'm not able to perform because
Mark that out.
because I work there. If I have a show, even if people like think that I'm getting paid for it, I could get fired. Even if I'm not getting paid for it, people would think that I am, and that's considered double dipping, and I can't do that.
Huh.
So, but I'm still working on it. I want to get the comics as much stage time as possible.
Yeah.
So I've actually like had the person that's at Black Bear doing it. I gave him some contact information, and so hopefully we're able to get something going.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it'd be
I bet you couldn't even host, could you?
nope. I can't be on stage.
Fucking, that's dumb.
I mean, maybe if I'm working, like with my badge on, but I don't think.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna like I can show up there like if like the show is going on, I can obviously listen and watch and stuff, but I don't think I can perform any of it. I was talking to them already about it since we're trying to get it going. We just got to get it approved, but I think it's getting there, so we'll see.
Could be interesting.
But it sounds like if they are gonna be doing it, like I said, I think it might be like a Friday or Saturday, and it's not gonna be like every week. It's gonna be like maybe once a month.
Yeah, we got the comics around, I guess. It's hard to get all that material, but
Yeah, because I know I showed them the stuff for the roast battle, and they were very interested.
okay.
So that's I like I said, anytime we have a show like that and we have good promotion for it, even like whatever shows are happening, I just show them the information so that way they know like, hey, there's enough things like we can make this work here. So
Yeah.
the only bad part is I can't perform. I'm a little sad about that. But I understand where they're coming from too, because you can only have one job at the casino. So
I guess.
I don't understand that rule, but I do. I appreciate it because they don't want people to be doing a host job and then also making money this way and also making money this way. So I see it. But so Joe
should making money is making money. You should be able to do it any way you can.
yeah, It'd be like, yeah, because I have a part-time job, and so like if I did stand-up comedy anywhere else, I should be able to make money there. Like, I don't know. I see both sides, so. But you looking at your beard right now?
Yeah.
He's looking at himself right now, Joe. He's trying to.
Looks good. It's coming in nice, man.
Yeah, he's doing a beauty contest show right now.
I can't do a beard, man. It grows in all patchy. I look like a homeless person.
Oh.
I don't like facial hair anyway.
I never was good at growing facial hair, and like I literally couldn't do anything until I was about 25, and then all of a sudden it was just like, yep, you can grow a beard now. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's because everything from up top fell down below.
Well, yeah, but I also like do that on purpose. So like this short right here, this is on purpose. I shave all the way down. I do the without the guard all the way down.
Curious to see. I still think you should grow it out just to see how much you actually have up there.
I don't wanna. Not unless I lost that bet that we had going on a long time ago for disc golf. If we did that and I lost. You remember that?
Yeah.
We still got to do that sometime. We had a bet that we were going to play disc golf at Blue Ribbon Pines, and whoever lost had to grow out their hair and their facial hair for a year.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. But at this point, I think I'd win. Because I play like every day and you don't play.
Especially since I haven't thrown a disc in 8 months.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
It's probably hasn't been that long. Probably 4 months.
I'll tell you what, I'll throw with one hand behind my back. It's still the same because
I don't know how you throw with two hands. That'd be pretty weird.
Unless I get to tie it, unless I get to really like tie it behind your back, because that might throw your balance off.
oh, that might, yeah, because I do use my arm for balance, I guess, while I'm like going back. Like I reach back with this hand, yeah. And putting. I use both hands for. I don't like use both hands for putting, but I like use my other hand to like guide. Yeah, as a guide a little bit.
Oh.
So. But Joe actually has a bit about my disc golfing.
Yeah, it sounds like a goddamn nightmare. My legs don't work. Like, I'm going to throw this little thing, go walk a quarter mile, and pick it up and do it again. Like, it's like what the Taliban would do if they caught me. So the Taliban do to torture me if they caught me.
But, okay, Joe, is stand-up comedy what you thought it would be when you first got into it? Or even just getting on stage. Was getting on stage different from what you thought it was going to be?
I don't know. I mean, I had just soaked up so much comedy, listened to so much, and heard about like starting out and how much it sucks. Now you're not going to make any money. And I was lucky enough to open for some pros when I was real early on that told me the same thing. Like, get ready to grind this out. Like, it's what's going to be. So I kind of had some advice, I guess, early on. So I kind of knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember I opened for one comic at VIP. We ran the pro shows there for a little bit. Chad and another guy. But I went to do it, and I opened for him. The guy said I did great and whatever, and it felt good. But he was like, so, how long you been doing this? And I was like, oh, like 6 months or something. And he's like, well, I'll get ready to get shit on for a decade. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I was like, well, yeah. I don't know. I'm not the kind of person that thought, like, oh, they're a comic. They must, like, be rich and have a mansion. Like, I knew that these were amateurs, and I mean, I'm still an amateur, but
well, like you said, it takes a long time. Like, people are amateurs for over 10 years sometimes.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. It takes so long to get anywhere, just to find yourself on stage. Yeah, get your career going, find yourself on stage, build the connections that you need. Like, there's a lot to the comedy
get an
world.
agent, work clubs.
Yeah.
It's never even been to a goddamn real comedy club.
Oh, like you haven't been to like Acme or anything? And
No, I've always wanted to go.
Yeah. That'd be fun to get a group of us down there. I've been there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been there a few times. I've performed probably 3-4 times there. Just like open mics and contests and stuff like that. But it's a fun, great stage. Like, I have a couple of things on my phone about like of recordings of me there,
Yeah.
and I didn't even think it was like a super great set, especially because I was so early in my writing and stuff, and I still got some good reaction on a couple jokes where I was surprised like at how well I actually did.
Yeah.
Obviously, like I'm better now because like I've refined the jokes that I have on there and I've like condensed them down into like actual one-liners instead of like there's a couple jokes where I just had a lot of words that were just unnecessary.
Yeah, that's how a lot of my jokes start, and then you slowly cut stuff off and figure out what you don't need. And,
Yeah.
yeah. That's kind of my favorite part about it, is the process.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds douchey to say, but it is kind of cool to see something. I mean, I've had jokes that didn't work for 3 months. I change a line or add something, and all of a sudden it works. It's a great feeling.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, even if you literally tweak, like, either take out a line or add a line.
Or
like,
pause for longer at a certain point, or, yeah.
That actually has worked. I had one joke that has worked so well on recently. I did it once at T-Bone's, and then I did it the next week at Dublin's.
Yeah.
And it was a huge difference in the reaction that I got. Just a little bit of a pause changed everything.
Yeah. That's what it usually does.
So, yeah, I'm still learning that, even like through my one-liners. Like, I can still tweak it, even though there's not as many words in there.
Yeah.
Like, there's still
It's crazy
things
how
you
a
can do.
pause can completely change a joke.
Yeah,
Just little things.
a pause, or even like, I love the way that Brian Regan like put it one time. He was on a podcast, and I was listening to this interview, and he was talking about how he'll write for hours sometimes, like just sit there and write and write and write. And he says that sometimes he'll get nothing out of that 4 hours of writing, but he might have made one joke 4% funnier, but he still considers that a win because he made that joke funnier.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few pros that just do that. It's called stream of consciousness, where you just sit and write. Like, not necessarily jokes, not necessarily punchlines, but you just write your thoughts. And
Yep.
I think that's how Rogan's explained his process. He writes down, he'll sit and write for an hour and try to pull stuff out of that and then try to use it. But I've tried that. I don't know. I guess I get distracted too easily.
Yeah, that I've tried that before, but the way I do it, it's more like I'm continuously writing throughout the day, like every day, and so then when I'm quote unquote writing, I'm working on the stuff that I had written down in my notes on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm writing the stuff that I already wrote before. So.
Yeah, and I've even gone through and just screwing around, just rewritten old bits, because rewriting it from scratch, maybe I'll find a better way to do it or a different line. But
Yeah.
I've done that before too. But a lot of my jokes kind of just come to me, and then I work on them from there, chip away at them from there. But I always carry a notebook. I always have my notebook with me. I have a note with a stylus that I never use, because I mean, the idea, as soon as I get an idea, to write it down. But
Yeah. Well, actually, it goes with our next question. So, Vandy, do you want to just ask this next question, and we can get a little more in depth about writing? Are you still there, Vandy? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay.
You zoning out?
I'm here.
Okay. Well, do you want to answer this or ask the next question, because we're talking about writing, so we want to get a little bit more in depth about it. So, do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah. How long have you been writing? How do you write and present? For example, do you write on stage or off stage? And if off stage, what does your writing process look like?
well, writing, I mean, when I was a kid, like, I love writing. English has always been my thing. I'm not a math person. I'm a writing person. But I mean, I would fill notebooks with these stories when I was a kid. And I mean, I would do like essays and write too much, and the teachers would tell me I wrote too much. Like, I've always been writing. But I think, like, to be funny, probably only since I've been doing comedy, maybe 6 months before I started doing comedy.
Okay.
But I'm really writing down. But I mean, most of my jokes are personal, so I've thought of these things before, and I've said them. There's just some things I've never said, some things I have said before in one way or another. And I guess I write both on and off stage. Like, almost all my jokes come to me off stage. Then I bring them on stage and gauge the reaction and see which part's weak and what part feels weird and where there's too many words and that kind of stuff. And I think my writing style is just kind of when it comes to me, I should write it down. But I don't know how many times I'm lazy and something comes to me, I'm like, oh, I'll write it down later, and it's gone forever.
Yeah, I need to write it down immediately, or I'm the same way. I did that today while grocery shopping. I was grocery shopping, and I'm like, oh,
Awesome.
I need to get bread or something, and then I got home because I didn't write it down,
Yeah.
and I didn't get it, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Like so it not only
To me all the
jokes,
time at work.
yeah, not only jokes but other things too. Like I just need to start writing things down.
Yeah, and I usually only write them out one time. I'll write out the idea, and then I'll tell it on stage. And then from then on, the only way it'll ever be written again is in bullet points with 1 or 2 words to remind me what it is about. Like, I don't always tell the jokes the same way.
Yeah,
I always leave room to change words, and, some people don't want you to say fuck.
yeah. So you've never like actually written out word for word what your jokes are?
Maybe the very first time when I first write it down, I'll tell it that way.
Okay.
But almost always, I'm just long-winded, so I'll write it and it'll be way too long. And then I'll trim it down and see where it'll work and just work on it. And then remember it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I always have to write mine fully, at least like initially, so I know kind of what way I want to go with it, especially since it's one-liners, so I don't really have a whole lot to write.
Yeah.
Which is nice for me.
And I have gone on stage with just premise punchline and kind of tried to make that work too, but that's not always as effective.
Okay. I was gonna like that's kind of what I was getting at. Like if you just had just that little bit, that's where you write on stage and that's how you kind of like add to it
Yeah.
and then you'll listen to it and then you'll be like, that's not necessary and kind of delete and edit from there.
Well, like my handicap pass joke where I say that somebody asked me if somebody said if they had a handicap pass they'd use it all the time, but I wanted to say, do you realize that you just said that you wish you were disabled, but instead I pushed them in front of a bus. That last line I didn't tell for the first 3 months I had that joke. I ended it with, do you realize you just said you were disabled? And it almost never worked. But I was like, I know there's something there. I know there's something funny about it. And I put in that last line, and it was just like explosive reaction. Like, I was like, there it is. It felt so good. This was probably one of the bits I worked on the longest and didn't give up on, and it actually paid off. I've had a couple I've finally given up on because they're just not funny. And I've had jokes I just tell to make myself laugh, and those aren't very good for comedy most of the time.
Well, it's cool though, like, because not giving up on the joke, like, sometimes is the right choice. Sometimes it is, obviously, but like, I like how you had that determination and you knew something was there,
Yeah.
and you added that on stage. Like, that's a really clever punch too. Like at the end, just to add that right there, like, because that is a good punch because it's something you're not expecting, and then all of a sudden, like, yeah, yep, there it is.
Yeah, it's one of my more successful bits. It's always worked since I made it work.
Yeah. Well, especially I just like the determination behind it. Like you knew there was something there. You just didn't know what it was yet, so you're still working on it on stage.
Yeah. And it wasn't like so bad it ruined my set, so I knew it wasn't like a terrible joke.
Yeah.
But it was just like kind of like a low point in my set because I'd get a couple chuckles, but yeah.
So you said you were only writing for 6 months prior.
Probably, maybe. Because once I found out about Dublin's, I started trying to write some jokes. And I was a psycho, man. I would stand outside of, we had a 3-season porch, or two, whatever the hell that thing's called, an unheated porch. And I remember for months beforehand, I would write down, I was writing my sets word for word, my entire 5-minute set.
Yeah.
And just standing there reading it to my phone over and over and over and over again. That's how I memorized my first set. But I talked too fast. I just went faster than I meant to during my first set, but that's how I did it when I started. Then I realized that that's way too much work and it's really not necessary.
Yeah.
It's better to keep the writing shorter and work on it on stage, I think.
Yeah. Well, especially because you said it was only 2.5 minutes your first time on stage, like that.
Yeah, I don't.
That got
maybe
cut.
it was 3. I don't remember exactly,
Yeah.
but it was shorter than 5 because it
Yeah.
was just like and I remember that was one of my biggest problems when starting was letting the mic drift away from my mouth and talking too fast. That was one thing I really had to get over quick when I started.
Yeah. So when you found out about Dubs, did you go every Thursday to like see, or did you find out about it and you're like, I need to write so I can go?
Probably
or like,
6 or 8 weeks, probably.
Okay, but did you go every time, or did you just study for it and get ready to
I
go?
went like weeks in a row.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
nice. Okay, that's what I was. Okay, because I didn't know if you would go there and then like do your studying afterwards, but that's the way it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep,
'cause
I can still clearly remember sitting in Perkins, actually, over in Superior, over there in Wisconsin with my ex, and like saying, I want to do stand up. I remember that day. I remember doing it. It was crazy, but it's a lifetime ago.
yeah. Well, it's a life changing day because like now you're doing stand up and you've been doing it for 5 years. Like that's really cool, especially like because I did kind of the opposite. I have been writing forever. I've been writing since 2010,
Yeah.
and I'm finally getting on stage every week. Like,
Well, like I was always the funny kid growing up, but that was just because I would like make noises and throw stuff at the teachers. Like I wouldn't like tell jokes. I would just be a dickhead. Like, but kids like that, so that's how I found that I liked to make people laugh.
yeah,
Because I mean that big pop when you get a great joke and it just makes the room just go crazy. It's beautiful.
it's such
the
a good,
best feeling
yeah,
ever. Yeah.
it's the best. Yeah. I don't know. Like that's what got me into it at first was because I would listen to comics like on Comedy Central and all that kind of stuff, but I actually never got to see anything really live until I was an adult. I never like
Yeah, I watched a ton of it growing up. Mitch Hedberg. And,
yeah.
I mean, David Tell's Insomniac. I remember that show so well. and
Yep.
just about killed the guy, but David Tell, I've mentioned him a lot now. I feel like David Tell is really underappreciated.
Oh, for sure. Like he's been doing it for so long. So I feel like there was a time where he was appreciated when he was on Comedy Central and stuff like that, but he's still funny.
Well, yeah, and he still tours and makes a great living doing it, but
yeah.
he's not in the spotlight as much anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, I remember watching stand up and getting into it that way, and then I finally went to Acme. That's where I went to see comedy for the first time, like live comedy.
Yeah.
And then I was writing, so like I knew that's something that I wanted to do eventually. But I went and saw like a live, like an actual pro comic, and I'm like, wow, like this is like way more like the energy was there's so much more than like when you're listening to it like on a TV, you know, like you actually hear the crowd laugh around you instead of like as an audio clip on TV.
Yeah, yeah.
It was nuts. I remember that. But yeah, so is that kind of the way that you got it at Dubs too? Was that your first time listening to stand up?
Live, yeah.
Live,
Yep.
okay.
And that was the open mic. I didn't go to a pro show till I was doing it for probably a year or two.
Oh, okay.
And that
So
was over at VIP where the guy let us go for free, basically.
Wow.
And I just got to sit in and see it, and I got to open it, so it was cool.
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
I think I opened the first pro show I ever went to.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't let me open. That's probably a good thing.
Well, shit, I mean, I didn't open at Dubs till 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
which was cool. A little milestone, I guess. No, I don't really care.
Yeah. How was that? I didn't get a chance to.
It was great.
go.
It went great. I mean,
Yeah.
the feature had a bad night, but other than that, it went well.
Yeah, I heard about the show. I just obviously like wanted to hear your perspective about it.
Well, yeah, and it's so painful to watch, too, because, I mean, this guy is hilarious. I've seen him be so funny, and he just had a bad night and just ate it. Like, it was bad. He could tell. I mean, he knew it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a secret to anybody. It was just, like, so bad for 24 minutes, and then he left. But,
Do you know like? Do you feel like you know the reasoning behind it, or was it like just?
yeah, he was out of it. Looked like it. I mean, he had talked about doing acid the night before or something like that. Or,
So he was just it wasn't in the right mindset for it.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes that happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there's times like where I'm like about to go like I'll have like during the day like I usually like to try to relax before Dubs on Thursday because I have Thursdays off.
Yeah.
So I like to either play disc golf or play video games or just do something to help me relax. But like sometimes I'll play disc golf and I'll just have an absolute terrible time. Like I'll hit trees and I'll just I'm not having a good day playing disc golf. And like there was one day where I was so upset at how I played disc golf. I'm like, I don't even want to like go do comedy. But then I'm like, no, I want to do comedy because I need it. Like I need like to hear other comics say their jokes so I can laugh and get it out. And I wasn't feeling funny, but I'm like, I'm gonna go anyways. And it was a really good set. I'm like, why was I even questioning coming tonight? So like now that since that day, I've just like I'm going no matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see it going the other way too, like if you're in a bad mood or just in the wrong mindset.
Yeah. It's harder too when you're getting paid for it. It's a little different. That's got to be painful to.
Yeah, that I guess I have yet to be paid for it, so that's part
I
of
think
it.
I've made about negative $4,000.
Yeah, I haven't really. I've been paid in food and stuff like that. Like I did a show at a place actually Vandy and I both used to work at. It's actually on his shirt, the Foul Line. It was the River City Extreme in Monticello, and we had a couple shows there, and that I put together. And so like we got quote unquote paid, but it was our tab. So they like gave us a free tab for all the comedians.
Oh, okay.
And so like that was
I had some guy at a bar tip me $10 once. Just gave me $10 for a set.
dang. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, that on showing up every night, I remember once, like I didn't want to go to a show once. I wasn't feeling good. I was just personal problems or something. I don't know. I wasn't feeling good. I went to the show. I sat down, happened to run into a guy, and I ended up doing a Christmas party for their trucking company and making like $200 to talk for 5 minutes, for 12 minutes, I think it was. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a short set. They only wanted us to do. It was, Brandon St. Germain. It's the only real gig I got, but it was great. Yeah, it was like $200 and we split it. And
That's
so, yeah, I think it was like $100 to talk for like 10 minutes.
That's pretty good though.
So that was
Like,
cool.
especially like you guys are both funny as fuck. So that would have probably been like a really good 12 minutes. It's crazy that it was only 12 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. I don't even remember. It might have been less than that.
Cuz that's just like doing an open mic and
Well, yeah, when I
getting paid
first
for it.
talked to them, I'm like, I'll bring 3 comics. We'll have them do an hour and a half. They're like, no, we only want like 20 minutes. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nuts. I mean, I don't know if you ever saw one of, I can't remember the name of that special, but Patton Oswalt was talking about his set that he had at a casino one time, and he was talking about how it was the most he's ever gotten paid,
Oh, yeah.
and he didn't even tell a single joke.
Ratatouille.
Yeah,
Like,
yep.
yeah.
He got his career yelled at him, didn't tell a single joke, and he said he paid for his daughter's first semester of college. Like, that's insane. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. The only special of his I can remember the name is Talking for Clapping.
yep. That's I think one of the earlier ones. I
Yeah,
think
he's great.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's one of my favorites for sure. Yeah, and I just love that. Like, growing up, like I didn't know that all the like obviously I should have known. I'm just dumb. That's why I host the stupidest podcast. But like I didn't know that like Maria Bamford knew Patton Oswalt, who knew Dimitri Martin. I didn't know they were all friends and they all
Yeah.
knew each other. And like Mitch Hedberg, like everybody knew Mitch Hedberg. Like it was just crazy. Like obviously it's the same scene. Like
Well, Maria Bamford's parents live in Duluth.
yeah,
She actually like moved here for a while during COVID, I think. I don't know if
Really?
she's still here, but
okay.
yeah. I don't know.
I knew that she was from Duluth, and I knew that her parents were still in the area. I didn't know if it was Duluth or if it was just close to.
Yeah, I think it's like East
But-
Duluth. It's like in the city. Yeah.
Oh
But,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I've never really.
Yeah, and I know.
She's never really been. I've never really been a fan.
Yeah, I've always loved her. So if I were to ever run into her, she'd be like one of my.
Yeah.
That'd be one of my goal comedians to.
Yeah,
to
she
see.
did a show I think with Tig Notaro at the North Shore once
Oh, okay, nice.
years ago. Maybe I forget who it was with. Maybe it was Tig. I don't know.
Well, if she's ever doing a show up in this area or Minneapolis, I'm gonna go see it because there was one in Minneapolis that she did that I was gonna go see,
Yeah.
but I was at the time I was with my ex, who wasn't into comedy, and so I wasn't even like considering going because if I would have gone, she wouldn't have gone, and she would have been mad, and it was not gonna be a good thing. So
Yeah. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to see Segura here and. Shit, that might be a couple weeks. I don't remember.
yeah,
when.
he's coming to Duluth, right? He's
Yeah.
coming to
Orchestra Hall.
Orchestra. Damn, that should be a good show.
Yeah. Pretty excited. I actually have to get that ticket because I'm going to try to get disabled seating because I want to walk down that goddamn steep hill to get in there. Well,
Yeah, no, that would be
go with Sam Schwartz.
nice. Oh yeah, I remember you guys talking about that. That's cool.
I'd like to see Bert too, but I don't know if I can afford it, and it's hard to go out on the weekends.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool we're getting those names. Oh, and Nate Bargatze is coming here too.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, if you guys are interested in comedy and you're in the Duluth area, you should definitely look at getting tickets to those shows. So.
Nate Bargatze is a show you can bring your kids to. He's clean.
Yeah, yep. He's the Tennessee Kid. That's his. Yeah, yep.
Yeah, he's hilarious.
Yeah, all those guys are hilarious. If you don't listen to any podcast, like, or if you're interested in getting into podcasts and don't listen, like Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, they're really good.
Two Bears.
Yeah, Two Bears.
Your Mom's House is great, but it's a certain kind of humor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And then if you pay for it, is that the one? If you pay for it, they like do all the crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's YMH Live. I think
Yeah.
they just did number 8. I think number 8's out right now. I got to buy it one of these days. But yeah, I've seen some things in those heavy segments that I wish I didn't.
It's pretty.
So they almost made Rogan.
nasty.
Yeah, they almost made Rogan puke, and he was like gagging, like ugh, like, and he did Fear Factor for like 12 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, so he knows a thing or two about
Tim Dillon
nasty.
is in the new one.
Really interesting.
The new what?
The new episode.
Oh yeah.
How often do they do those episodes? Is it like monthly
3
or
or 4 months.
Oh, it's like quarterly, basically.
Yeah, it's not very
Something
often.
like that. Whenever Tom has free time and wants to make some extra money.
I gotcha. Well, I'm sure they make a ton of money on that.
Oh.
We got to do something like that. We'll have Vandy put on his swimsuit. It doesn't show a whole lot. But
I know they just
Daddy's
signed.
here
They
to
just
work.
signed Segura for 2 more Netflix specials.
oh, nice.
So that's pretty exciting. Hopefully they're soon. I want to see
I think
it.
they signed Bert too.
Yeah, of course they did. That motherfucker, he's gonna be whoring till he dies. Love him, but Jesus, man, I don't know how people. I couldn't keep up with him, man. How can you party? I'd love to hang out with Bert, but I could not party with Bert, man. I'd be puking in my shoes for like an hour and a half.
You just got to get multiple pairs of shoes and you're fine. Just carry them around. Maybe get a bag. That'd be easier.
Be cool to get him high on crack and then turn him into a crackhead. Oh, I ruined Bert.
So
I ruined Bert.
that's how you get famous, is making him a crackhead. That'd be an interesting way to get famous.
Yeah.
But all right, my next question is, do you ever practice your jokes alone or with friends and family?
Not really alone so much anymore because I feel like you really need reaction of people. I don't like practice them out loud, but I will practice them with family. I'll run them by other comics too. And sometimes, like, if something just comes up organically, I'll try and slip in a bit that works with the conversation we're in at the moment and see if I get a reaction. So yeah, I do practice some of them, but not all of them. Most of the practice comes from being in front of an audience.
Yeah.
That's the most important part. So, I mean, Zoom comedy is, ugh. Like, how was that show you did?
So that one is, it's fun. I love the show.
Do you get any crowd reaction is my thing? Or is it just silence?
That's the tough part. There are jokes where you get the crowd reaction, but for one-liners, for me, like, sometimes I get the reaction right away. It's not that much of a delay.
Yeah.
But some of my jokes also require that extra second to think about it. So that extra second, I also need to add an extra second for the delay. And so, like, I'm pausing a little more than I normally would, which can kind of make it awkward sometimes. But, like, I get the reaction. It's just sometimes a second later than I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
And so it's tough because I like sit there, I say the joke, and I pause, and then I either get it or I don't get it. And most of the time I at least get some reaction, which is nice, at least one person laughing, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like it is more difficult.
Well, the Zoom shows that I watched a couple. I couldn't watch the whole things, but I watched a couple where there was no sound.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like Norm's special, but that was Norm, so it was special. But I mean,
yeah. And I love the way that Dat, because it's Dat Fan is the only one I've ever done a Zoom show with.
Yeah.
But the way he sets it up is really nice. Most of the audience is comedians, which is
I can't believe that guy's still doing comedy.
Yeah.
I thought you had to be funny to be a professional. All right, that wasn't very nice.
No, he's actually got some good stuff. Like through his Zoom, it's funny.
Yeah, I haven't actually heard a lot of his material. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's actually getting ready to start touring again. so which is nice. But it's gonna be awesome. But like it's interesting like concept in getting the Zoom stuff. But like I just like the way that he set everything up because everybody in the audience knows the rules and knows not to mess with the comedians. The comedians know the rules, so they're not like messing up other comic sets.
Yeah, that's one nice thing about being on a computer. You can just block them. Like,
Yeah.
shut the fuck up.
Yep. And he knows exactly what he's doing because he's got like everything in front of him. When he's not performing, he is the one that's controlling it, which is awesome.
So it's almost more like a podcast.
Well, it's a
With
podcast.
jokes.
Yeah, it's a podcast with jokes, essentially, because like everybody's doing it through Zoom. But he does have live comics in his studio.
Okay.
So he actually does have people in the studio doing their stuff, and so he'll kind of split it up so not everybody in the studio is doing it at the same time. So he'll have somebody do it in the studio, then he'll have a Zoom comedian, then he'll do somebody in the studio. Depending on how many people he has in the studio, because like obviously like with COVID he can't have everybody in there all at once, but like he'll invite people there. And
What's that?
COVID, it's this thing that has happened. It started in 2020, and it's a virus that people get for having sex with each other. And I'm just kidding. It's not sexually transmitted. I think it's through the air is what I've been told.
Magic.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, so like it's just cool because he's like able to get comics out there, which is I love that show because you get to see comics like from everywhere. And so like I've learned from other comics just kind of like different ways and different like things that they use,
Well, yeah.
which is nice.
And that's part of being at our level. I can talk shit about any comic I want, but they're professionals and I'm not. So I'm just jealous. It's just jealousy.
Yeah. But it's cool because like I love our scene because like we work with each other and we like build each other up and we can help tweak jokes and stuff like that.
That's all I know. I don't know how I would deal with a competitive like open mic scene. I can understand being competitive professionally, that's the job. Mm-hmm. But competitive at an open mic, why? Yeah,
I don't understand that either. Like I've been in that arena and it's tough because you're like you will ask another comedian after a set in that kind of environment and you won't get any response.
Well, it's like you can be the best open micer, you're still a fucking open micer. Like it's not really like, I don't know, I think having a good show and being part of good shows helps more than just having 2 or 3 good laugh points.
Yeah, we need to help each other out. Like if I help you out, you're gonna help me out. Like we're gonna build the community. We're not like against each other. Like we want the community to do well.
That's why it's cool we're doing all these feature shows now. Sydney's doing one where you get like 3 or 4 or 5 comics doing longer sets, which is awesome.
Yeah, that's huge. Like even like I don't know, it's just crazy to I can't like envision ever like wanting to continue doing comedy if you're in that environment. Like that was one issue for me when I lived down in the cities was I would go out. One part of it was that I had to pay for parking, and I'm just cheap. And I didn't want to have to pay for parking every single time I went and did 5 minutes, maybe. So that was tough part. But then also on top of that, I didn't feel like a part of the community. Like we're up here, I don't have to pay for parking, and I'm a part of the community. So I want to go every opportunity I get.
I never pay for parking anywhere.
Oh,
it's pretty sweet. Just gotta have a disease, that controls your entire life and existence. It's fun. Just try it.
Worth it?
Yeah. No. Definitely.
Sorry, I had to. But so that was part of it. But it's just cool, like with like through the Zoom show. It's kind of neat because like I've done a couple of those shows, and then afterwards on Facebook they'll either add me as a friend or just send me a message just saying, "Hey, I really liked these 3 jokes," and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome!" And then like sometimes we have a conversation after that, and I talk to them about like jokes they maybe didn't like, and so I get help from them just as if it's the community that we're in, because like sometimes we always talk about that after a show.
Yeah.
Like, hey, that was such a great thing. Hey, here's a tag for this one, or oh, maybe this one if you pause here or whatever. Like we just give each other notes. Like it's just very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Sydney actually gave me one I'm gonna try out this week.
Oh, nice. That'd be good. I want to hear that one.
Just inserting things in a play. I don't know. I talk too fast. I bull over shit a lot. I got to slow down and do more pausing and let the stuff happen. I've gotten way better at it than I was, but it's still an issue.
Yeah. Well,
silence is just it just, I don't know, it just drives me insane. Like, just standing there in silence for any amount of time makes me feel like my head's gonna explode.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I've learned through podcasting and through like listening to other comics and stuff. Like some of them like say that that's one part of comedy is being comfortable in the silence.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously a hard thing to get used to and like I don't know, be comfortable with, but
Yeah, knowing how to bomb, that's another thing it's good to know.
Yep. And knowing that because
not knowing how to bomb necessarily, but knowing that when you bomb, it's not the end of the world and how to recover from it.
Yeah, because I did that before I was in this
Yeah,
scene.
you could quit comedy for like 8 months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I quit comedy for 8 months. I was still like kind of writing, but I even stopped writing for a while because I was just like, you know what, I don't need to do any of this.
Yeah.
And then I got back into it, and yeah, Vandy and I were. He was in town. We were going to do the podcast, and he's like, "Well, why don't we go do some stand up?"
Well, you did the podcast before stand up?
No, we were going to do stand up, or we were going to do the podcast that night, but we decided to go to Dubs just to kind of play some darts or
Yeah,
whatever.
no, I mean, had you already been doing comedy when you started the podcast?
I had done
Okay.
comedy in the cities, but
Okay.
I hadn't done it up in Duluth
Yeah.
because I've been here since 2019, and I had always thought about getting into it, and then obviously COVID, so I didn't get into it then. But then after everything was getting better with that, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to think about getting into the scene again and see what it's like.
Yeah, and this is the second iteration of the scene. Like, the first scene kind of fell apart. Like,
Okay.
really, the only people that are left from that are Bob, Danny, Chad, myself. But,
Okay.
I mean, now we got all the new people. We got Patrick, we got you, we got the new comics are amazing. It's crazy. I mean, Sydney on fucking killing on Kill Tony after
was-
fucking 6 months in comedy. God damn it.
Yeah, that
You
was
heard me,
insane.
Sydney? You hear me, Sydney? God damn it.
Yeah, she got on Kill Tony, the number one live podcast in the world,
It's hardcore and did very, very well. Had
Yeah.
a great interview and everything.
and got onto the special show.
Yeah.
Like that's
Secret show.
secret show. Sorry.
I don't know, I just kind of want to kidnap Red Band. I think we have the same brain.
Yeah, but I kind of like the fact that wasn't her first podcast. That would have been sick for that to be her first podcast.
Yeah.
But the stupidest podcast snagged her before.
Oh, yeah.
Before that one. So
Yeah, you got to ride those coattails as long as you can, man.
They're big talent scouts.
yep. So once since she's already on her way of getting big. Now it's Frankie and then it's you. So you're gonna be getting big soon.
Sweet.
You just gotta wait for after Frankie. Once Frankie gets big. So we gotta wait for
You
Frankie to
just
get
blow
big.
people up.
We gotta wait for Frankie to get big. That's gonna be tough. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Frankie.
Oh.
That was a joke, Frankie. I'm just joshing you. I'm getting ready to roast you. I gotta roast you on the podcast right before we do it live on the stage.
You're not joshing her, you're Justining her.
I'm Justining her. I like that one.
All right, Joe, do you record your sets? And if so, does it help with future performances?
Yeah, I try to record every single set. Like, I'll just set my phone down on the stool on record. And, so yeah, and it does help to listen to it. Like, you hear, like, oh, I need a pause there. Oh, that word wasn't necessary. Or, oh, I should use a different word there. Because you can hear the reaction of the crowd, at least sort of. And we're lucky enough in Duluth that we have the amazing Danielle Thrallo, she has to be on this podcast
Oh,
someday.
she's gonna be one of the next ones.
But she has a, nice camera, comes and videotapes everything, takes pictures of us. She's one of the things that keeps this scene together, I think.
Yeah.
Helps keep the scene together, definitely.
Yeah, no, I met Danny the very first night that I did stand up at Dubs, and Vandy was there, and he got to meet Danny too. So like that's one reason I'm trying to get everybody on. I don't necessarily have a specific order that I want to get everybody on. I'm just going based off of the amount of interest that I'm seeing. So like if people are interested in doing the show, I obviously want them on the show. Like because they're interested, and other people I'm sure are interested. I just haven't seen.
Well, Danny and
we haven't
Bob have
talked
just
about
been the local comics I've always looked up to.
Yeah,
Like, not that I don't appreciate everyone else, but I don't know. It's not the same.
yeah.
Wow.
But no, that's Danny is one of the ones that I want to get on right away because basically because Vandy has met them. I want people that Vandy has met on the show too, so that way he has a connection with them. So that's why once he is able to come up a little bit more frequently and we can do some stand up together, he'll get to know people and then we can get them on the podcast. And I feel like that would be a great way to get everybody to know each other too. So
yeah, and I mean, you guys talk about live podcasts. The Caddyshack has been the most supportive place ever. They would do that. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how it would work with this, or I don't know how any of that works. This is my first podcast. Well, second, but first one doesn't count.
Yeah. This is your second time recording with us, so this is the first one that will air. So I still feel really bad for that. That's tough.
Yeah, no, I ate a bunch of edibles that night. I'm not as fucked up today, so I feel like I'm more coherent at least.
Well, it's going great. Like this is so fun so far. But yeah, that's actually a really good idea. I think I might look into doing that. I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then we can get even like we can have a live podcast, Vandy and I on stage with an extra mic, and we can kind of rotate through a bunch of comedians.
Yeah, I mean, we've had up to 6 mics hot at once, I think.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Because we would have to...
Frankie's dating show, she had like 6.
Yeah, because we would have to have our mics, and then we might have to have a mic by it, so obviously everybody can hear us. Well, we'd have to figure out the logistics of it.
Well, that's another thing I forgot to mention about that Caddy show is Pete had some friends come to record. Dude shows up with 3 like $1,000 cameras, mics plugged directly into the camera, 360 camera up on the stage, recording the entire room, the whole show. Like, I can't wait to see how they turn out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like the most professional I've ever been recorded. It might actually be a set worth holding on to.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So like it's a 3D camera, so you could actually like, or the 360.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
so...
like a camera. It's like a stick with 2 lenses on both sides, like fisheye lenses, and it just records, I guess, the whole time. Yeah. But there's a little blind spot because it's it's on both sides of the stick.
Yeah, so they could technically do like a VR of that show then.
Maybe. I don't know how that works.
Because I feel like that's what a lot of the VR
it wasn't a
stuff
3D
is.
camera, it was a 360
Yeah,
camera.
yeah, 360.
Yeah.
So you could literally, like, if you had goggles on, you could, like, it would let you go anywhere.
Yeah. See, that's how online comedy could work, is virtual reality, but it's not standard yet. So, I mean, I don't even know if I want it. I don't want to work when I play video games. I want to sit.
Yeah, for sure. You know, I just started I haven't gotten too deep into it, but I was just listening to Mark Zuckerberg on Joe.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like the future of gaming and all
It's interesting, but he is so fucking boring to listen to.
It is, yeah. I
just
understand
monotone. That. But yeah, there was some of that was a really good podcast.
Yeah, I'm partway through that. I'm not 100%, but I want to listen to that just because like that concept like seems very interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait till they do the next Save Our Parks. See the last one with Ari, Shane, Gillis, and Normand?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
one.
they've done like 3. They do it once a month now. It's amazing. Like,
okay.
The last one, Ari tried to keep up with Shane Gillis's Bud Light consumption, and Ari made 14. And he was
Hammered.
he was sleeping on the floor, puking in the cooler. Like they had to leave him there, and they had a show that night. And fucking Gillis just drank 18 beers and was fine.
Wow.
Just fine. Didn't even piss. It was weird. I don't know how you do that with light beer. I know I can't. I don't know. I guess I'm a whiskey guy. I can't do beer. It's too much.
Nah, that's nuts. Yeah, I wouldn't. I couldn't do 14. I'd be done.
Especially Bud Light. Fucking gross. Well, sorry. I mean, maybe they're a future sponsor. I love you, Bud Light.
Well, they're not a sponsor for this particular episode right now. So I mean, at this time on what is it? August 31st, 2022. That's when we're recording. Sorry, this is in the future. People in the future are listening to this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
2 weeks.
But, well, sweet. I think that's all we got for the first set of questions, Joe. Is there any questions you have for us?
I guess one of the questions I was going to ask you is the podcasting, like when you started doing the podcast. But that was kind of already explained. I don't know, not much really.
Well, we can talk a little bit about that because we started about a year, almost 2 years ago now, is when we started, and we have been releasing episodes every other Monday. And now we're in the 40s. I think we're at 42, 43
Okay.
right now.
This would be 41.
41.
Wow. Yeah, and you guys just decided to start it and talk about whatever, or I mean, what do you?
Yeah, so it started off just as an idea, because we Vandy and I, we used to work at the bowling alley, and we did what was called Moonlight Bowling there. And so we would be the hosts of that. And so, like, we had a very good connection just on the mics there. And so we were just calling shots, doing jokes, and doing all sorts of stuff, mostly improv stuff.
Okay.
But we would do, like, side games and stuff like that. So we had, like, a show going. And so, like, we were doing that. And then I left the bowling alley, and I went to work for the Twins. I was working for the Twins, but I had an internship, so
Okay.
they needed a little bit more of my time.
Yeah.
And so I went there, and so we stopped doing the Moonlight Bowling. They ended up having other people host it or whatever, and we were talking, and we're like, yeah, it was years later, and we're like, man, I missed that. Like, we got to do something like that, you know? And so we're like, Vandy suggested, he's like, well, what about like a podcast? Like, because we are actually, before the podcast even got started, we were talking about maybe doing stand-up together.
Yeah.
And I would do my one-liners, and he would just kind of joke off of my one-liners and just kind of do a lot of like improv stuff. Because I had obviously a lot of stuff written, and he hadn't at the time. And so
Yeah.
that's what our concept was at first. And then we just kind of broke off from there, because like I don't know. I think it'd be fun, but it'd be tough for like one-liners, because I don't know. I don't know how that would work. But so we decided to, Vandy's idea was, he's like, well, why don't we do a podcast? And so we were thinking of ideas of what we might be able to do, or different ideas for the show, different formats, different names for the show. Like, we didn't have a name for it, so we were just trying to figure stuff out. We didn't know what we were going to do for getting the mics or timing, because I was living, like, I had moved up here and everything. But finally, like, we decided we're just going to do it. And we didn't really have a plan, but we
Just pulled the trigger.
we just pulled the trigger, and then we just did it and kind of went from there. And now we have kind of a formula of like what we want for the show, whether it be a guest show or an episode with him and I. And so now we're just kind of doing the show, and we tweak it every about 10 episodes or so, just to kind of get something new and tweak it and make it what we're hoping is better. And so yeah, we've been doing that. And like, when we were trying to figure out an idea for the show, like for a name for the show, I was thinking, I'm like, I want something where people know it's going to be funny, but like sometimes we're going to do other weird stuff, but people don't take us seriously. So I was thinking, like, I wanted it to like be something stupid. So I was literally like just coming up with like stupid names. Like, I don't even remember any of them right now. But then I'm like, what about like the stupidest podcast? And like, I'm just like, at first I hated it. I wasn't really a fan of it. But then I thought about it for a little while. I'm like, well, people aren't going to take us seriously. Like, if we say something that people don't agree with, we'll just be like, okay, well, yeah, but what was the source? The stupidest podcast? Okay, that's the exactly, like, fuck off, you know?
I don't know. I kind of like let's see. What was the show with the models? Runway.
Like Runway?
Project Runaway?
Yeah, Project Runway 9/11 edition.
Oh,
That's a good podcast title.
yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
Fuck, that was too much for not worth it.
No, I like it. I didn't know that was a podcast. That's funny.
Should be.
Oh, it should be. That's
Yeah.
I gotcha. Okay, that's funny. No, I don't know exactly. Like, it just I thought of that name, and it just stuck, and then we just went with it, and obviously we're still going with it. So
Yeah. Well, if it works, dude.
yeah, I mean we got a decent amount of people that listen, so we're just gonna keep going with it.
Yeah, one of my favorite podcasts is called Can You Don't.
Can you don't?
Yeah, it was Dan Cummins and this guy Joe Paisley had a podcast called Is We Dumb, which was just people doing dumb shit. Now they split off, and
Yeah.
Dan Cummins didn't have time for it anymore or whatever, but they split off. Now the other one is Can You Don't, It actually just dropped today. It's hilarious. It's like they always open it with like a would you rather question, like would you rather like wipe your friend's ass every day or have to eat shit every time? I don't know, something crazy.
Yeah.
It's like what they started off with and then jump off of there. But it's really interesting. They just talk about dumb shit.
That's good. We actually have a segment that we have called Would You Rather, and we ask questions just like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they made it up. I've heard it a lot.
Yeah,
but that's just part of their podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we threw that in as a segment for when it's just him and I, and we do it like I think it's 3 of them each episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like that concept. One of the names that I had, it was like the stupidest podcast, but I think it was literally like the stupiderest podcast, and I'm like, it's funny just because like it's dumb because you wouldn't say stupiderist, but I'm like the stupidest podcast is good enough. And then I looked up like all the information, like is it a podcast? And I didn't see anything about a podcast, anything. And then I saw that the domain was available, so we bought the domain for our website. So it's literally www.thestupidestpodcast.com, which is awesome. Super easy for people to remember. So if you guys ever want to check it out, just go check it out. We are going to do an update of it, though. It's not exactly what we want, but
I was almost a web designer once. I have like almost a degree.
oh, dang.
Yeah.
We might have you look at it and see what you think.
I haven't been in school for 3 years. I probably wouldn't remember anything, but it might be worth looking at. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was something where I was doing it, and all of a sudden I was like, why am I, like, I went to college because it was the next logical step, and I got into it, and I was like, I don't fucking want to do this shit. But I'd already committed, so I kept going and going, and now I'm in a bunch of debt.
Nah.
Much less debt.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
Biden.
Yeah, that's
Dropped 90% of my debt in one day.
nice. That's huge.
Yeah, it's gone. It's crazy. It's like I owe less on my student loan now than my truck is worth.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy.
That's nice. Yeah, I like the fact that people are getting that. It just sucks because I literally paid mine off 2 years ago, so
Yeah.
I don't get any benefit from it. But I mean, it's still paid, so I'm happy that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But would have been nice to have a little money though.
Back pay.
Yeah, if only they did that, that'd be nice. But do you have any other questions, or do you want to know anything else about us in particular? Anything about the podcast? Do you want to do a would you rather question? Do you want to?
I don't care. We can do a would you rather question. I don't really have any more questions for you, so I don't.
Okay, well, let's do a would you rather. So what was the first part? It was would you rather. What was the one that you used as an example?
I forget what it was today. It was either you had to wipe your friend's ass every time they take a shit, or I don't remember what the other one was.
Well, let's come up with one, and then we'll do it. All 3 of us.
I think maybe it was, or every time you have to go to the bathroom, you have to eat a piece of shit. Something like that.
Okay, let's do that.
I would definitely rather wipe my friend. I don't want to eat shit. That's terrible.
Is it so every time you go to the bathroom, as in like pee or poop, or is it only when you poop you have to eat a little bit of that poop?
I don't know.
I couldn't hear it. What was it?
So the question was, it's a would you rather question. So would you rather wipe your friend's ass every time they poop, or would you rather eat a little piece of poop every time you poop?
I'd rather wipe somebody's ass.
I had to reach in the toilet afterwards and break off a piece. It's gross.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna wipe my friend's ass. I think that I can touch poop.
Can't be any more different than me.
But another
wiping
one I
my
remember that
daughter's
was
ass.
great was, would you rather have feet for hands or hands for feet?
Ooh, that. I like that one. Did you hear that one, Vandy? Are you having a tough time hearing
All I
us?
heard was, can't hear Joel that well.
Oh, well, the sound on our end seemed fine.
Was that too far from the mic?
No, you were fine on it, like
Oh.
in my headphones, so, and on the recorder. Like, talk again.
It sounds good to me over here too.
Yeah, it's perfect on our end.
Occasionally you talk when he's talking, and I can't hear both of you.
Oh,
So it's all right. It is what it is. So, what was the question?
It was, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands?
I think I'd rather have hands for feet.
why?
I think it'd be because it'd be tough to pick anything up with feet for hands.
Yeah. You have 4 hands. Be kind of cool.
Yeah,
I'd
but
rather have 4 hands than 4 feet.
what if you had 4 feet? You could be like a horse or a dog.
Yeah, but then you have no thumbs. You can't pick anything up.
I'm gonna learn how to do all that stuff with my mouth.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm
Be
not
like a
saying
freaking-
that's the way I'm going. I'm just trying to be the
I'm gonna
devil's
be like an
advocate.
orangutan and be able to freaking climb almost anything.
I'd rather have a hand for a penis.
Yeah, I think another one was like, would you rather have sex with your mom and your wife's body or your wife and your mom's body?
Oh, we've done that one here. That's a tough.
We've done some
That's
we've done some raunchy ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so tough. Because you don't want the memory with your mom.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't really be that much of a memory for you because it'd be your girlfriend in your eyes. And then
But she looks like your mom. Turn-
turn the lights off, maybe? Put a bag? I don't know. Because then you also got the body, and then you're going to see your mom's body. Oh. I love you, Mom, but not like that.
That's an impossible. Just suicide? Is that a question?
Is that the third answer? Yeah, that's tough. I don't know. Okay. Do we want to get into the second half of the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the first part, we have 10 questions that we're going to be talking about more about comedy. So the first part is, do you have any other hobbies outside of comedy that you feel might help with comedy?
Well, I watch everything funny that I can find, stand-up, sitcoms, pretty much anything, podcasts. So I soak up a lot of that, and I think that kind of helps. I mean, I think maybe it helps and hurts. I may be a little overexposed. Like I might find myself falling into a rhythm that I saw on TV or something. I really try not to, but I know that's an issue with some comics, but those are pretty much my only. I don't really have any hobbies. Video games. I mean, I play Final Fantasy. That doesn't really help with jokes, but or women. But yeah, I'd say just watching comedy and stuff. I used to go fishing, but I don't know. I've kind of lost that part of myself a couple of years ago because of some events. But I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to it someday. But I don't know. I haven't got myself back out since for a while.
Do you think that would help with comedy if you got back into it?
When I was doing it, it kind of did because it was quiet and I could write and I could think of stuff. But not really. Most of it's just time to myself to write helped. When I was, 2 kids with my wife, wasn't a lot of alone time in the house. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I could definitely see fishing helping with writing for sure. Like, I don't know if it would help necessarily with stand-up itself, like doing the actual physical act of it, unless you, like, practiced, obviously, and you had other people there fishing with you. But, no, I could see that. Yeah, because one thing that has actually really helped me, I know it sounds weird, but disc golf is actually helping me with comedy, and comedy is actually helping me with disc golf, which is weird too. But it helps me because with my style, because I'm a one-liner, and Joe's playing with the mic over there.
Yeah.
But no, so since I'm a one-liner, it helps me in the fact that like I try to envision my set as if I'm playing a round of disc golf. And so if I have a bad throw in disc golf, or if I have a bad set in comedy, I have another throw to help me out. I have another joke to help me out. Like if I have something that doesn't land, maybe they'll like my next one,
Yeah.
So I just think of each joke as its own universe, or I think of each disc as like each throw as its own universe, and nothing before it matters, nothing after it matters. It only matters right here, right now. So like if I have a joke that lands, that's great, but I still got this next joke. Like now we're on to the next one. This is the one that matters. So that's kind of the way that I've kind of looked at it, and it's helped me just kind of get through either a good set or a bad set.
Yeah.
So it helps a good set get better, or a bad set hopefully get to at least decent.
Yeah.
But But do you think Final Fantasy would help at all? Like, do you think any video games, like, just...
I'm playing Final Fantasy, I guess you could think of your jokes as materia on your equipment because you can only have so much, and that's the nerdiest thing I ever said in my fucking life. But yeah,
I like it,
that's
though.
about it. I mean, because I don't know if you know Final Fantasy VII, but there's materia which gives you magic, and you can only have a limited amount, and you have to choose what.
Oh, yeah, because you only have so many jokes that you could potentially say.
Yeah.
But you
and
have
you only
to...
have so much time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to fit it into 5 minutes. And you have to figure out. And a lot of my jokes run into each other. So I have to tell them in a certain order. And if I don't, they kind of don't work, or I have to do something different.
Yeah, or like if you say this joke, well, that goes well with this joke, so now I have to do these 2 jokes. Well, now there's 3 minutes or whatever if you have multiple jokes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that could definitely be a factor. But
All right, Joe. What is your favorite part of doing comedy, and what is your biggest fear?
My favorite part about doing comedy is having a good set. I mean, there's no feeling like that. And the people. I mean, like, not to make this a sob story and stuff, but I mean, I got divorced and all my friends disappeared. Like, everybody just poof, gone. Like, I haven't heard from most of them in months. Like, they're just gone. And, like, I can go to comedy and, like, if I'm feeling bad, and talk, have fun, laugh, have a good time, and just kind of forget about all those problems. That's another thing doing comedy does for me is, especially like my feature show I had last week was a perfect example. I was freaking out. Like, where's everybody? I need to sell some tickets. But as soon as I get that mic, it's like, that's where I am. I'm there, and that's it. I even did karaoke afterwards and just blew off Bob and Sydney because I was so into it. Like, sorry guys. But they hung out, and I was just like singing my ass off. I sang like 12 songs. It was great. But,
well, you'd fit in with Vandy and I. We used to sing karaoke every week. Every Wednesday night we used to sing.
yeah, I love singing. Singing is one thing I do. Comedy, see, I think it's being behind the mic singing is different for me because I don't care. Like, I'm just doing it for fun. I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for the audience. I'm not doing it for anybody. And I happen to have a decent voice. But comedy, like, it's so much more personal to me. So, like,
Yeah.
I get more anxious and nervous about it. But singing is nothing. It's like,
Yeah, you just go out and you just can do it. Yeah.
yeah, and I love it. And I like connect a lot of music to my life, so it's helpful.
Do you think music helps with comedy? Because it sounds like there's a big connection there. I know, like, for me, I'm not musically inclined. Like, I can sing karaoke, but like that doesn't help me with comedy. At least I don't think of it that way. But like,
I don't think so. It might help you with your self-confidence a little bit.
maybe
I
just
know it
being
did.
on stage.
It did help me, yeah, and just going and putting yourself out there. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, I had a musician friend who plays guitar and he sings, but he had told me, like, he couldn't do comedy because at least he has a guitar to hide behind.
Yeah.
Like, for us, it's just there with a mic in my hand, like,
Yeah. No,
doing your thing.
Yeah, we have, like, I have friends that like are in bands and stuff like that, and they say they can't do comedy because at least if they aren't having like a great night, like say they miss a part or like something got messed up, at least it got hidden in the other things. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like if you're at a bar, people aren't gonna like, oh, I messed up that one bass part in one song.
Yeah.
Like you're obviously it's huge for you, but like in all actuality that nobody probably noticed unless they're a bass player. They probably were like, oh, what was that? You know, like, but like how many bass players are gonna be at that bar that night listening to that song? I don't know.
Well, yeah, and that's another example. It's perfect in comedy. How many times people are like, why do you tell the same jokes over and over again? Why don't you tell jokes about current events? Like, that's not how comedy works. Like,
Yeah.
I remember we had one guy come in once and he's like, can I go up and tell somebody else's jokes? Like, no. What the fuck?
No.
Like, that's why there was a comic not too long ago that they had an idea for a cover show, and I was like angry about it. Like, I was like, no, you don't do that. And like, oh, music does it. Like, it's comedy and music are not the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, cover shows are not a thing that should be happen.
No, because it's not your stuff.
Yeah, and if it's a cover show and you're making money off of it, you're making money off of backs of other people.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, America, but
Yeah, that's you can't. Copyright is huge, and obviously, like, there's copyright on music too, but it's not like as
well, it's crazy. Still in 2022, there's still people that think, well, if another comic can tell the joke better, like the Mencia fucking thing. Luckily, he lost everything. He's actually back out touring though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's back in clubs, but whatever. I don't know too much about that, but I know he stole a lot of jokes and kind of got shut down by Rogan, like as a video
Oh,
of
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, we talked about that in one of our early episodes
But
about
there was
that.
even people back then argue like, oh, he told it better. Why are you so mad? Like, fuck that. Like, that's not okay.
Just because, like,
Yeah.
if somebody told my joke better, I still wouldn't want them to say my joke.
What's the big argument? Like, with
I'll
China
sell you
and
my
stuff,
joke.
Like, they don't think intellectual. Like, China doesn't have the same idea of intellectual property. They just copy. They just take everything they see. Like, they make fake iPhones and fake everything. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah.
Chinese government's gonna kill me now. But yeah, I guess no. I don't know where else I was going with that. That's about it.
Yeah. Well, it's tough because, like, if you come up with a joke, like, and it's so hard to, like, wrap my mind around somebody, like, that is able to do something like that consciously and, like, be able to sleep at night. Like, taking somebody, like, you're essentially stealing. I would much rather somebody steal something physical from me. I don't actually do this. I'm just saying, like, please.
Well, and at our level, it's different. When you're a professional making money off it, then you're taking money out of someone's pocket. You're taking food out of someone's kids' mouths. I still don't think it's okay to steal as an open micer, but it's a whole different level of fucked up when you're professional.
Yeah. Well, it's still messed up because if somebody steals your joke and then they get famous on your joke.
Yeah.
Like, or obviously it's going to take more than one joke to get famous. But I'm saying, like, say they get famous, but they used multiple other sources. So they, like, used, say, 20 other comedians' stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's nuts, you know? I don't know. Vandy, are you still here? Okay, I lost you on Zoom, so I was just making sure I still had you on the phone.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm still here.
Sweet. You want me to close Zoom then, or are you trying to get back on?
No, that's fine. You can close it.
I'll close it. Okay. Just curious. But yeah, I don't understand how people can steal other people's things. Like, there's jokes where I've had where it's close to something else, and I just get rid of it because I'm like, oh, that's too close, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if I see it online and I hadn't said it before anywhere else, like, if I said it somewhere and I know I said it before that thing got posted or whatever, then I would look into it and be like, okay, this is when I recorded it, like, to see who's actually got the stuff, you know? Because I try to record my stuff, or I have logs of my jokes as to when I wrote them. Like, since I've been writing since 2010, I have everything in either a PowerPoint, Excel, or Word.
Oh, yeah.
And so I have it written down and saved so I can tell you exactly when I wrote each of these jokes. So
Yeah, well, my stuff's so personal, man. Someone has to live the exact same life in the exact same place doing the same things I did. I'm not really... My stuff's not exactly stealable for the most part.
Well, I live in the same area, so I can do some of your stuff.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But, you know, I understand that, especially, like, being so personable and, like, it's so nice to be able to do that. And I that's one thing that I want to get better at, is getting more of me into my stand-up. And I think that would just be a lot better. Not only, like, for my comedy, but just, like, for how I feel about comedy too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'd have a better connection with the audience. I'd have a better connection with comedy itself. Like, it would help.
Yeah.
But what is your biggest regret in your comedy career so far, if you have any?
I'm not sure. I guess maybe not taking it more seriously at the beginning, but I mean, a lot of that was, you know, I had a dying marriage to deal with at the same time, so that was kind of tough. But I mean, I guess it's not really a regret though, because there's not much I can do about it. I don't know. There's not anything at the moment.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's good. Like, I feel like it's tough to have regrets, you know, because what you did or what had happened to you is what got you to where you are now.
Well, I know, trying to do an open mic after state hockey when it was Duluth versus fucking St. Cloud. That was terrible. Well, I think it was Hermantown versus St. Cloud. It was like the two biggest hockey teams in this goddamn state. And we were at this pizza place, and it was packed wall to wall. And we're like, let's do it anyway. And this is back, Danny had we had a little PA that we used. Oh, it was terrible. Just screaming in the mic. No one was paying attention. Everyone was wasted. That was bad.
Yeah, that's
kind of a
got to be a
regret.
tough show. I mean, that's a tough show, but I don't know if you can like. It's the circumstances. It's not something that you did that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing you could have done differently.
Yeah, but I feel like now I probably would just pull the plug. I'm like, this isn't
Yeah,
worth
just
it.
not do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotcha. Vandy, I think I might have skipped your question. Did I do 2 questions in a row?
You just did 13, right? I did 12 before you.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I thought I had skipped you accidentally. But yeah, that I understand that. That would be it'd be tough to come back from, you know, like going to the next show, like just having that in the back of your mind, like
Yeah, I think
is this gonna happen?
that's why I've heard like the first set's the hardest. I think the first set after you bomb is the hardest.
Yeah.
It's dragging yourself back up there like, all right, that's not how it's always going to be. We got to shake this off.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I feel that one. That is the hardest, but sometimes it's the most rewarding.
Yeah. Especially if it goes well again. You're like, oh man, I don't suck at this.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, if you, I can't imagine having a bomb set and then going back in and then bombing again. That would be tough. I don't know if I've had that experience. Cuz like I said, when I did it, like when I bombed that one time and then stopped for 8 months, the first time I did it was at Dubs that night.
Yeah.
And it went really well. And after the show, like you guys came up and invited me to the one-liner contest. And I'm like, well, I must not have been terrible if they're inviting me to this contest, you know, like
Yeah.
that just made me feel so good and welcomed into the community. I was just like, okay, well now these guys are just bringing me to this new show, like awesome.
Yeah. It's nice we've been having those little shows going on. We can keep it going, get it in different places and different venues and make something happen up here.
Yeah, I love what's going on so far, and I'm really hoping that we're able to get this thing at Black Bear.
Yeah. Like at this point, I don't really have my kids. I'll be here till they're 18 at least, and like, you know, I don't know if I necessarily see myself becoming a row comic, but even if it can just be like a supplemental income, it'd be nice to get some money out of it because, yeah.
No, I understand that.
Producing those shows is such a stressful thing. You don't think of it, but
yeah. I would love to have some sort of supplemental income from comedy, from the podcast, from disc golf, from both, all 3, if I include disc golf. Yeah, it'd be nice to have something going.
I guess it's a dream for everybody to get paid for what you love, but
yeah, I mean,
I also worry about does it become a job and I'm not going to love it as much?
That's exactly the point that I was trying to, because the way that I do comedy, I write, and I'll write for hours. I'll literally write for 10 hours straight if I feel like I'm in the mood.
Yeah.
But if I'm writing and all of a sudden I could be in the middle of a joke, and if it feels like work, I got to step away. I'm like, okay, I can't do this right now. I don't want it to feel like a job. I want to feel like I'm doing it because I love it. And so I'll literally be working on a joke and I'll be like, nope, I have to call it right now.
Yeah.
Because I'll be there. I'll be writing a joke or like just working on a joke that maybe I would consider like because I rate all my jokes. I go 0 to 5. And so I'm trying to make all my jokes a 5, obviously. Like those are the 5 would be like stage ready. I'm not going to change anything. 4 would be like it's stage ready, but there's still maybe some things I could work with. 3 is like it's almost ready to be on the stage, but not quite. And then 2 and 1 are just kind of concepts, like levels of concepts of how I feel about them. And then 0 is literally like one word where I'm like, there's one where I have Camp Snoopy. I want to do a joke about Camp Snoopy, but I got nothing. You know,
does Camp Snoopy still exist?
No, well, it's Nickelodeon Universe now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I remember it as Camp Snoopy, so I want to do a joke about Camp Snoopy.
Last time I was at the Mall of America, it was still Camp Snoopy.
Okay, that's been a while.
15 years ago, probably.
Yeah, but yeah, so I just thought that would be like, I don't know. That's my thought, I guess.
Yeah.
But
all right, Joe. Have you ever bombed? And if so, what did you learn from the experience?
Yeah, I think doing this for any amount of time, if you don't bomb at least once, I don't know, you're probably not doing something right or you're not taking enough risks. But I definitely have bombed, and the way it helps is, I mean, it can hurt. Like, it can make you not want to do it ever again. But then pushing through that shows you can do it, and it's not going to always be like that. And one bad night doesn't make for a bad life, I guess you can say. But yeah, I've definitely bombed. I mean, the hockey thing, I bombed. I bombed this just yesterday. I just bombed. But I mean, I was out of it. I barely slept. I should have stayed home. But yeah, I think bombing always helps, because especially it helps by getting yourself back up there. And sometimes, like, I watched Pete do it at that.
I think that's when you learn the most.
Yeah, and I watched Pete not bomb, but I watched Pete lose the audience and then get it back on Saturday, which was crazy. Which is not crazy, but it's really cool to watch. Like, so even if you bomb on, say, not your whole set, but one of your jokes bombs, like, that's something you got to learn too, to just keep on moving. Don't, like, get in your head about it. So yeah, I think it is pretty helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've learned a lot from bombing, and I feel like every comedian has learned a lot from bombing, because you learn more about a bomb set than you do a great set.
Yeah.
Obviously, the great sets feel great, but
Yeah.
you can still take lessons from those too, because obviously, like, there's a reason it was great. So keep doing something like that. Obviously, it's going to be different because every audience is different. But I mean, there's something you can learn.
Yeah, definitely.
But would you consider yourself a funny person off stage?
I try to be, but not always. I mean, I have my bad days where I'm down and just don't really feel like laughing or being funny at all. Like, I don't know. I'd like to be. I try to be. I don't know, like, especially hanging out with comics, like messing around and making jokes. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, sometimes those are the funniest times, is like after the fact, and you're
Yeah.
like just joking around, and you're at Pizza Luce or you're somewhere else, like maybe you're just out on the patio just talking,
yeah.
and it's just a great connection, and you get a joke, add jokes, like get punches and
Yeah.
add tags and stuff like that. So it's a great time that, like, I always make sure that I save room after comedy to hang out. Like, even if I have to get up early the next day, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang because
That's always nice. I work Monday through Thursday and I have Friday off. I got my kids at like 3.
oh,
so I
nice,
can sleep till 2 o'clock in the afternoon if I really want to on Friday.
nice. That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm the opposite. Friday is my Monday, and Monday is my Friday, and so, like, Thursday nights I can hang out, like, for the most part, but I have to work Friday. So, but
Yeah.
the earliest I would ever have to work is 10 o'clock, so it's not terrible.
No. Yeah, it's not bad. But at my desk at 6:30 every morning.
Oh wow,
Yep.
that's early.
It's nice though. I'm done. Done with the sun still up during the summertime.
Yeah. I remember I did that for a little bit in between Black Bear and Black Bear. I left for a little bit and
Yeah.
worked at home, and I had to be in the office ready to go by I think it was 7 o'clock. No, I had to get up by 7, so I had to be ready to go by 8.
Okay.
But then we were done at 5. It was 8 to 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing 6:30 to 5 right now.
Okay. Those are some long days.
Yeah, 410s is nice.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yeah.
That's same with me. I
Yeah.
work 410s.
Monday through Thursday.
Yeah. That's why Friday's my Monday and Monday's my Friday, because I have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off.
Okay.
So I do 410s unless I got to tweak something. I do an 8-hour shift and a 12 or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's how I usually make it work for comedy stuff, like either on a Sunday, or if we were to do something on Monday or whatever, I just move hours.
Yeah, it's nice. I always have my nights and weekends open. Weekends are different because I have my kids, but if it's a paid show people are coming to, it's a little different. It's hard for me to do mics and stuff when I have my kids, but
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
You should bring them.
Yeah. Thought about leaving them at Curly's like a daycare.
I don't know how great of an idea that would be.
Well, they might learn how to smoke crack.
That's funny.
Joe, what is the most memorable night of comedy that you've had?
And it doesn't have to be good or bad. It can be either. Or you can have a good and a bad story.
I think it was my first time opening, probably for a professional. I think his name was Mark Poulos. I think that was his name. I don't think he may go by a different name now. I don't know. He works in He went to real estate for a while during the pandemic. I think he's back to comedy now, though. But I remember opening for him after like 8 months, and like didn't expect anything. Like I was like, I just want to make people laugh and have a good night and have fun. And he took me aside afterwards, said, "You're good at this. You should keep doing this." And it felt really good to have a professional say something like that to me, especially that early on.
Yeah.
Which I think is really helpful. That's like another thing I don't get about being competitive. And how can you do that in the cities where you argue with people and making, pacts? I don't know. This sounds crazy to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a professional say that to me one time. Like, it was Wendy. Remember Wendy Mayberry? I don't know if you know her. Or
Yeah,
not.
I opened for her.
Oh, okay, nice. I opened for her once too. And was she the one that said that?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I forget his name.
Oh yeah, that was the
Mark
pool host.
Poulos,
Yeah, Mark Poulos. No, Wendy had some really great advice from me. I opened for her at River City one time.
Okay.
And I remember talking to her, and she was telling me all this stuff, and like the things that really like stood out for me, because she asked me how long I had been doing it, and I hadn't been doing it a whole lot on stage at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe like 7, 8 months, or maybe a year or something like that. At that time, and she's like, "You don't look it. Like you hold yourself well on stage. You have great jokes. Like you did very well. I would not have guessed that. I would have guessed a couple of years." And I'm like, "Oh, well, that makes me feel really great. Like that makes me feel so good." She's like, "You definitely have things that you can tweak and edit and make better." And I'm like, "Oh, that's, of course, I appreciate that."
Yeah.
I was wearing a Rams shirt, I believe, that day, and she suggested, she's like, "Well, I would suggest not wearing any logos on stage, because if you wear a logo on stage, whether it be a Vikings, Packers, Rams, whoever, it doesn't really matter. But if I wear a Rams and there's somebody that's a 49ers fan or a Vikings fan, they might automatically not like you."
Or they might be drunk and just yell at you because drunk people suck.
Yeah, exactly. So like that was one thing that I took, and sometimes I use that advice, but like if it's an open mic, sometimes I ditch that one.
Yeah. She actually, I mean, when I opened for her at Dublin's, that was my Dublin's opener. It was pretty awesome. That was something I wanted to do the entire time, but doing comedy. Like I didn't make any money off it. It wasn't a big deal, but it was more of a personal thing. But when I opened for her, and about 3 minutes into my set, lost my place. Didn't know where I was. Froze. Got it back and finished my set well. And I hated it. I was like, "Oh, it sucks so much." And I was talking to her afterwards. She's like, "I couldn't even tell. Like, it looked like you were just pausing like normal." But to me, it felt like, I think it was probably 10 seconds. It felt like 3 years.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
like, shit. Where am I? Yeah, it was bad. But I finished and it went well. So
Yeah. But yeah, it's really nice getting advice like that from comedians, like at any level, whether it be a professional level or an open micer. Like I still love getting advice from all of you guys.
Yeah.
Like I learned so much just from you guys too. Like it's crazy.
yeah, I try to listen. There's a lot of stuff like I'm stubborn. So if somebody gives me an idea and I think a different way, I'm probably going to go my way just because I'm stubborn. But I don't know.
No,
I feel kind of bad sometimes. Like comics think I'm blowing them off. I'm not. I'm listening to what they say.
You don't necessarally need to take the
yeah,
advice,
and what
though.
they say doesn't always work for my personality.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I actually learned that lesson from my grandma, because she literally every time she wants to like give me advice, she'll be like, "Yeah, you can take it or leave it. Like you don't have to use it." Like she'll say that almost every time. And I'm like, "Grandma,
Yeah.
I want to hear your advice, and I am gonna use it, or I'm not going to use it depending on what it is." But like, I just feel like I love that she says it though, because it's just so cute. Like, "Oh, you don't
Yeah.
have to use this," and she'll like give me advice about comedy or disc golf, and she's like, "But I don't know anything about those. I'm just kind of giving you advice and what I think." And
Yeah, and I forget my most memorable one. Another memorable. This is probably the most memorable one actually. We did a show in Grand Rapids with Patrick and Sydney and Danny and I.
yeah, yep.
And my grandparents were from there. My grandma had just passed away like a month before that.
Yeah.
So I got to do my set and dedicate it to my grandma and grandpa, which was really cool. It felt really that was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
To a sold out room of like 200 people. That was crazy.
Yeah,
It was nuts.
I saw pictures and a little video on that, I think, and it looked awesome.
Yeah, biggest crowd I've ever been in front of.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely memorable. 200 people. That's a lot.
Yeah, it was crazy, and I couldn't get up on the stage because it was too high.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Damn.
Let's give it up for accessibility. Woo!
So obviously, I kind of, I guess, answers the next question. But we'll just kind of see if that's the coolest place, or maybe there's another cool place that you've performed, or maybe that's not as cool because it was not accessible. So, where's the coolest place you've ever performed?
I really like just the feel of Dublin's, I think.
Yeah.
It's always been, Danbury was pretty cool, but that wasn't, that was in front of a paid crowd there for a professional, so they were a good crowd. And that was kind of cool because I was on like a real stage in a real comedy room, so it was like the closest I ever got to a comedy club. Because Dublin's, we have the room, but it's not really a comedy club. It seats 80 people, like whatever.
Yeah.
But
it does have the feel of a comedy club, though.
I just love Dublin's too because I like the bartenders, I know them, and cheap whiskey is always good. Yeah, other than that, I've really only performed Danbury, Dublin's, VIP, Average Joe's, and then one time at the Copacetic. Fuck that place.
Why that
Because
place?
the owner's wasted and he can't it wasn't the greatest show. It wasn't a good fit for our show.
Oh, okay.
But he came up, he's like, I can tell funny. He's just wasted. I'll tell funnier jokes with my buddies. And then he's like, those people in the audience, you paid them. All these comics suck, and talking shit about all the comics. And I wasn't having it. I wrote him this whole thing. I could put a negative review, you fucking drunk fuck, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
Just say you shouldn't act like that with your customers. I will never be back. You can go fuck yourself. Yeah.
That's tough. That's.
But really, I've only performed in a small place. I've never really performed anywhere big, except for that brew house in Grand Rapids was definitely the biggest, best show I've been on. So that was pretty cool too. And it was a brand new room; you could still smell the paint. It was brand new. Yeah, it was the only place I've ever gotten to drink for free as a comic. Yeah. And I had to drive 2.5 hours home, so I didn't drink much.
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, I think the coolest place I've ever performed is Madison Square Garden. I'm sorry, it was in a square garden in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I performed at the deck, or on a deck.
Or on a deck. One of the I can't remember.
All right, Joe. Where would you do a special if given the opportunity?
I really like Duluth. I grew up here. I've really not left here much. I wouldn't mind the orchestra hall or maybe the arena. I couldn't imagine performing in the round though in an arena. That seems crazy to me. But I would also like a $2 million payday for one night. But I think it would have to be in Duluth, and it'd be kind of cool because I know we've actually looked into it. UMD, it's $3,000 for another auditorium and pay for staff, but that's a big gamble.
Yeah, that would be.
We could stand to make like $10,000, but
that's if we sold it out.
Yeah.
That would be fun though. That'd be an interesting.
Yeah, and the North Shore. I saw Cloud Call at the North Shore. It's a really nice theater. That might be hard for comedy though, because it's it's made for music. So it's the balcony is and the stage is straight down. It'd be tough.
Yeah,
but that'd be cool. North Shore, yeah, somewhere in Duluth, even Dublin's, just at a little place like that, because this is where I started and this is where I'm finally making something big here. But, yeah.
Plus, it'd be a fun, intimate show.
Yeah. And then I wouldn't do it in Superior because Superior's gross. Gotta rip on Superior.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, is there if you were to, obviously I love the idea of Duluth, but is there a stage that you've seen maybe another comic do that you would maybe want to try?
Red Rocks.
Red Rocks would be amazing.
Yeah, I would like to just go there.
Yeah.
Regan's special was great there.
Yeah.
Burr did a special there, which Bill Burr's fucking masterpiece. His last special, oh my god.
Yeah.
Just beautiful. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Red Rocks would be cool. Fucking that Atlanta stadium where Kevin Hart did his special was pretty crazy.
Oh yes.
What Next?
Yeah, What Next is amazing. I saw that in theaters.
Kevin Hart's I don't hate him, but I'm not a huge fan. If I see him, I'll watch him, but I'm not a Kevin Hart maniac. Yeah. Like Louis C.K., I can quote a lot of his jokes. Like I can't do that with.
With Hart.
Yeah.
Nah. Oh, I can do that with Regan. Brian Regan's my absolute favorite comedian. I can do that with him. Used to do it way more, but now that I'm like performing every week, it's tough for me to listen to comics like that. I want to listen to comics that I love, but I also don't want to like grab their cadence or whatever. I don't want to like grab like the way they say things, especially Mitch Hedberg, because
Yeah.
I have one-liners and so does he. So I don't want to like listen to him for hours and then the next set I do is Mitch Hedberg, my jokes, but in his style, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I deliver my jokes pretty deadpan for the most part. I'm not very animated. It's something I've kind of wanted to work on, but on the other hand, no, I don't.
Mm-hmm. And that's something that I want to work on too, because I want to start getting into like some jokes and stuff like that end up with doing like act outs and stuff like that. And I do have a few like jokes that I have like that. I just haven't done them yet.
Yeah, the most I do is I have like sometimes I'll cut the mic or like talk differently into the mic and make sound effects with the mic. Other than that, I don't really do anything special. Which one way I want my jokes to stand on their own, but another way it's better for crowd interaction too if you're more moving around, I guess.
Yeah. Well, especially like I love comics that are animated, and I love comics that can sing and like include like other things. Like I love that stuff. Bo Burnham is amazing. Flight of the Conchords, amazing. Like
I remember that special I first started coming out right when we started doing comedy again, and that Put Your Fucking Hands Up was like my life at the time. Like we're going to go where everybody. I was so depressed. I was in the middle of my divorce. Everything was so bad, but I was going to a place where everybody knew me, and I knew everybody, and it was going to be awesome. Life's still not fixed, but it's the whole thing special. That's what the whole song's about, really. Yeah. And it's got my favorite line. You say the ocean's rising. Well, should I give a fuck? I forget how it goes. You say the ocean's rising like I give a shit. You say the world is ending, honey, it already did. Yeah. You're not going to stop it. God knows I tried. Got it good, now get inside. That's kind of how it was for me for like a year. I just wanted to shut myself off. And so that special spoke to me like in a extreme way when it came out.
Yeah, for sure. Damn.
And Welcome to the Internet's the shit.
Yeah. That special, it's insane. Like,
yeah, he released a new one.
Yeah, with like all of the extra.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's such a prolific special to me. I don't know if I want to ruin it with. I don't know if that'll ruin it or not.
Yeah, I've thought about like watching it too. I actually have it on my to watch list on YouTube, but I've started it, but I haven't finished it yet.
When I get depressed, sometimes the song "Here Comes That Funny Feeling" pops into my head. So real, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's huge on Reddit too. People love that special on Reddit.
Yeah, it was kind of a mind fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, I love comics that can do all that kind of stuff. Like Stephen Lynch was a huge one for me.
Yeah, what happened to him?
I don't know. Like he was.
Yeah, he had fucking Special Olympics. It's one of the best songs ever.
Yeah.
Watch them run, watch them fall, watch them try to catch a ball. Olympics. Around his neck, gold medals hung, resting on his giant tongue. Olympics. So awesome.
Yeah, I know like some of his stuff was pretty out there, like raunchy and
Daddy
stuff like that.
likes porno and $10 whores. Daddy gets wasted and robs liquor stores. Daddy likes rubbing against little boys on the bus. And I think that's why your mommy left us.
Yeah, Stephen Lynch is amazing. I don't know where he's at now.
Yeah, he just kind of disappeared. Maybe he was like, but I don't know if his material would be acceptable today.
I don't think it would be acceptable today. Just
especially
because,
Special Olympics.
Yeah, that one was
it was hardcore.
Yeah, but I remember I listened to that. Like he was one of the first comedians I remember watching on Comedy Central.
Yeah, I saw his. It was a half-hour special.
Yeah, Comedy Central Presents. He was,
but their hours were like 40 minutes because they advertise every fucking 7 seconds. But I'm so glad I left cable behind me. I even pay for ad-free Hulu because I'm not doing it.
Oh yeah,
fuck commercials.
Yeah. I still have commercials on my Hulu, but that's because I get it free with
Spotify?
Spotify. Yep.
I did, but I let it run out, and then they didn't have the
Oh.
deal anymore when I went to renew.
Dang. But yeah, man, I that's why I like being a one-line comic, because that's what I know how to write, and it's easy for me. But I want to expand into other things. Like, I would love to be able to do a song, but I'm not musically inclined, so I don't know how to do that.
I don't know, I'd want to do like accents and stuff, but I'm like, I'm gonna feel stupid, so I don't
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I want to do impressions, but I can't do that. So like, I have jokes about that, and like the fact that I actually don't have jokes
Yeah,
about
well,
that.
a lot of that shit you're gonna have to take a risk and maybe fail a couple times before you
Yeah.
figure it out. So that's also a hard thing to do. And I know when it's something I really try to avoid. When there's a big, great crowd, I'll revert to my known shit and
Yeah.
not do anything new because I want to have a good show. But that's kind of poison after a while, because then you'll just do the same shit forever.
Yeah. No, I do want to take some more risks and do stuff like that, because it has paid off in the past. Like, I've done jokes that are 30 seconds or a minute, which is obviously a lot different from my typical 5 to 10-second jokes.
Yeah.
So I want to try to figure out different things. I just need to start taking the risks,
Yeah, it's the hard part.
because then, yeah, if you take the risks, sometimes it'll pay off, but then other times you're going to talk to the comedians afterwards and they're going to be like, what was that? But
Yeah.
it'll be worth it. I got to try it.
I've had a few of those conversations, especially Chad. He'd be like, you shouldn't say that. And like some of my best jokes, Chad was like, never say that out loud. Like, fuck you. I'll just do it anyway. Like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple jokes where I wanna see if it's good, but I just got to do it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the hard part.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can tell people off stage, but it's not the same.
Well, it's like anything. I wanna invent my own social media and become a billionaire. I just got to do it.
Yeah.
Just got to do it. Trump tried. Didn't work. It didn't trump Facebook. Right.
Nice. I like it. All right. What do you normally wear on stage? Would you like to change? And if so, what would you like to wear?
I wear black pants and a t-shirt, or black pants and a hoodie. Cause that's all I wear everywhere. That's what I wear to work. That's what I wear to funerals. I might throw in a button-up shirt, which I did on Saturday, and the whole fucking show, it was off one button and no one told me. So that's cool. You hear me, Dustin? You hear me, Dustin? You're laughing about it. You should have told me.
I saw that in the feed. I was like, why didn't he say something? That's funny. I mean, maybe it made the show, you know? Maybe that's...
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not even noticeable. It's a black shirt with black buttons. So
Oh, yeah. That's fine. That's funny, though.
We'll say I did on purpose. Make people laugh.
Yeah, there you go. Is there something that you would like? Would you like to change that, or is it something that you like are just comfortable in? So you just
You know, it might be kind of cool. It had to be a bigger show and a longer set. It might be kind of cool to go out in a suit. Because, I mean, I guess I don't hate dressing up. It's just I don't really find a need for it.
okay.
Like, why do I need to look good at someone's funeral? Like, why do I need to look good? I don't care. Like, at work, I'm semi-formal, so I have to look decent. But I don't get when people are like, oh, I spent $200 on this shirt. Like,
Oh, no.
man, I could have got a half ounce of weed for that. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, $200 is for a shirt. No, I shopped the clearance section at JCPenney.
Well, I actually had somebody, one of the comics here, I won't name him, I guess. I'm not trying to talk shit about him, but they said, like, dressing up isn't for you. It's for the other people who notice you. Like, I refuse to jump through fucking hoops to make somebody like me, and including wearing clothes to make them look at me. Fuck
Yeah.
that. Like, I'm not doing that.
No.
Like, which may be why I'm still single, but I'm sticking to that. I'm myself unapologetically everywhere, and I'm not going to stop doing that.
And I agree with you. I'm on your side on that because I do the same thing. I like to wear what makes me comfortable, and I am trying to layer different things on stage, like just to kind of test things out. But
most of my adult life trying to be different for someone who's trying to force me to be different, and now finally I have this thing where I can just be like, you know what? I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to say what I want, and I don't know.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you being you. 'Cause that's what I'm trying to do. If people don't like it, they don't like it. So, whatever.
Yeah,
It's on them, not me.
pretty much. Yeah, that's their problem.
Yep.
Forget who said it. I think it may have been Louis C.K., but it's none of my business if you like me or not.
Yep.
Because number one, that's their private thoughts, and number two, who gives a shit?
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
it's none of my business what you think of me, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say it's hard though sometimes.
I mean, everybody wants that people to like them, but you're never gonna please everybody.
Yeah.
There's no way of doing it. Like, there's gonna be something that you do, even if it's like the best thing. There's gonna be somebody out there that's like, well, fuck that guy for doing that. And you're like, oh, well, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, you could probably volunteer like 100% of your time outside of work, and somebody would find something wrong with it.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do some personal time. You got to, I don't know. I'm just throwing that, like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, somebody's going to bitch about something.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
Yeah, pretty much always.
who cares, though? Just be you. That's all you can do.
Well, yeah, and being the other person didn't even work. They were just fucking around behind my back, so it didn't even matter. So it's like, it taught me, like, why the fuck would I ever do that again? It doesn't matter. In the end, it doesn't fucking matter anyway.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, it's about you because you're you in the end. And you're not anybody else, and you only have your own life to live. So.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime I'm thinking about stuff like that, I always go to, there's a Moonlight song, the Moonlight Community has a song called Nothing. And I always listen to that song whenever I'm feeling like that. One of the lyrics is, no, 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 nothing matters anyway. And I'm terrible singing, so it's way better in the song. But they say nothing matters anyways. And you can take that in a positive or a negative. I always take it in a positive. Like, okay, sure, you had a bad set, but nothing really matters anyways because that's in the past. Like, just move forward and you're good.
Well, it's like I talk about doing drugs and about making bad decisions and being a felon. I've talked about that on stage. Like, people are like, why do you talk about that? Aren't you embarrassed? Like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I'm not proud of it, but I can't change it. It happened. Like,
Yeah.
it happened, and I have to move on. And for me, joking or talking about it and openly is how I work through it, which doesn't always work either. I'm still working through shit every day, but I think we all are, really.
Yeah. Well, as long as you're continuously like working through it.
Well, I mean, even a couple months ago, I just jumped back into therapy for like 4 weeks and then stopped again.
Well, even that 4 weeks, I'm sure it helped.
Yeah. I just don't, I mean, at a certain point, you kind of just become saying the same thing to the same person over and over again. You kind of just got to take the advice and figure it out yourself. But yeah, it's been helpful. It probably saved my life a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I listen to Pete Holmes a lot, and he talks about how even if you don't think you need it, you probably need it.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was like resistant, and then I think I cried for an hour and a half. So
okay, yeah,
it was intense.
Yeah.
It was really intense because you just really kind of go through shit that you should have gone through already, but we don't. I don't know stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had that experience, but I know my family they go through some of that stuff, and it's helped them immensely.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite quotes is there's always going to be somebody suffering worse than you that doesn't make your pain invalid.
Yeah, exactly. So. I've heard that too. My buddy told me that, and I think he might have gotten it from his therapist or something, because I take that all the time. Like, because I'll complain about something, and then I'm like, oh, I shouldn't complain about this. Like, somebody's got it worse than me, you know?
And it goes the other way too, and people are like, oh, I hurt myself, but you have a disease, so I know it's worse for you. Like, you don't need to say that.
Yeah.
I understand it is, but it doesn't matter. And you're just drawing attention to my disease to benefit yourself, which is kind of selfish.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, because like you'll go through something, and then because I was going through a rough patch, and I was like trying to talk to people. I was talking to my mom. I was talking to my family members, my friends, or whatever. And like some people were helpful, and then some people were like, "Oh, well, I'm going through this," and you're like.
You know, or get over it, which I actually wrote jokes about it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, you're not listening. You're just...
Yeah, and I had another guy tell me, like, oh, I think therapy is for, weak people. It's okay if you do it. It's like, you just called me a bitch, man. Like,
yeah, you just called me a weak person. Like,
like fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, then go home and fucking beat your kid because you didn't make the NFL, you fuck.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I feel like therapy is helpful. Like, there should be no bad vibes with that. Like, you're trying to... help yourself. You're trying to help people around you. Like, you're doing a good thing. Like, I don't know. I feel like I kind of like would like to go just to see what it's like, and see maybe there is something that I'm not conscious about. Like maybe my subconscious is like holding on to something that I don't know about, and they can dig it
It's
out.
usually something in your butt.
Well, there's been a lot of things. Are we talking about today? Because I can name 4. Just kidding. I should have told Josh and Shan not to eat those cucumbers. But
All right, Joe. If you could open for any comedian, who would you want to open for?
Be pretty sweet to open for Mark Normand. Be pretty cool. Any of those big shows, Gaffigan, anyone that does any arena, it'd be nuts to perform in an arena. I couldn't imagine 20,000 people. It's fucking ridiculous.
yeah,
But I think really it might be Rogan, Seguro, somebody from that group, because I feel like I'll meet a lot of them. Like that's the biggest thing. I'd really love to meet these comedians. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. Louis C.K., Mark Normand, Dave Chappelle, Joe Rogan, Tom Segura. The list will never end.
I can't imagine being able to meet these guys and like see them and perform with them. That
any
would be
any
the
of
huge
those
thing.
multi, worldwide touring, first top tier comedians.
Yeah.
Yeah, can't think of anyone specifically. I mean, Robin Williams, but it'd be pretty weird to open for a coffin.
I mean, you could try. I mean, maybe they could just play, like, have him, like, in the coffin, but they'll play his material.
Yeah.
Because you could still open for that.
Or like hook him up like a Jack in a Box, like get off stage and like kick the casket open. It's like, hey! Everyone, ah! Oh,
they got him dressed up like the genie from Aladdin.
Like catapult launches him over the crowd, so he's flying.
Yeah, they'd remember you, I think, too. They'd be like, so you were the guy that opened for that? I don't know. It'd be tough, though, because that would take the cake. That would, like, people would remember that. I don't know if they would remember the opener.
Yeah, I don't know. A dead body flying through the air might bring a comedy show to a screeching halt.
That might. You actually might be the highlight of the show then. You'd have a great set, and then they'd realize that the horror what to come, and then they'd be like, oh yeah, I really liked Joe's set now.
Yeah.
Like you think you bombed, but it was really good compared to what he had.
Dead body trebuchet.
Yeah, I never thought we would talk about that on the show. I like it.
Right?
There's a lot of stuff we talk about on this show that I never thought I'd talk about. But I like it.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. I think that's all the comic questions we have for you. Is there any, like, because we're going to start getting into the dedication. Is there anything that you think that you would have liked us to ask? Or anything else that you want to talk about regarding comedy or the comedy scene in Duluth?
Well, I mean, not really much more than we already talked about. I mean, the support of him is great. I mean, I don't always get along with everybody, and I'm sure a lot of people don't agree with what I say a lot of the time, but I feel like we got a really good group of people here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know. It's if anybody local is listening to the show, September 30th, we got that roast battle. That's gonna be awesome.
That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything else. Really, I grew up loving comedy, and I've continued to love it, and I will continue to. So I don't know. Maybe in a year we'll do this, and they'll be fucking featuring some club.
That'd be sweet.
In a year, yeah, okay.
Well, maybe. I mean, who knows? In a couple weeks, you could be on Kill Tony. That happened once.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, I could fucking ride off of her fame. When a professional comic comes to get her, I'll just hold on.
Well, sweet. Well, I think we got to that time of night then.
What
Vandy,
time of the night is that?
Well, it's the dedication. We're gonna dedicate each of our episodes to a comedian, and normally Vandy and I choose the comedian, but every time we have a guest, we like to have the guest decide who they want to dedicate their episode to. So, Joe, who would you like to dedicate this episode to?
Robin Williams.
Robin Williams. Why do you want to dedicate to Robin Williams?
Because he's the first person I saw comedy. He's the one that really sparked that thing in my head that said, maybe I can do that. I remember how dirty he was. I remember, like, because I'm used to, Robin Williams. I'm used to Disney Robin Williams.
Yeah, yep.
And I think he said fuck 5 times in the first 10 minutes. I was like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like, and then I was like, because to me, stand-up was dorky, 90s dude in a fucking sport coat with the rolled up sleeves and stupid jokes. Like, comedy was never something, I didn't really see it as that much of a thing. I thought, really only the famous people are doing what I like, but I don't know. Comedy's turned out to be a whole lot more than that. And his special showed me that, and how you could talk about your life. Like you talked about, like I said earlier, you talked about like having a hard time peeing as an old man. You talked about just his life.
He was the first celebrity that passed away that I actually got teary-eyed over.
Yeah, he's like one of the only ones that and well, I probably shouldn't admit this out loud, but Chester Bennington, that one really hit me hard too, because I grew up so closely listening to that band. But yeah, I think he's definitely missed, and a lot of his quotes, like I think he was the first one I heard say, some of the most religious people you ever meet are the most judgmental people you ever meet.
Yep.
And I heard him say things like somebody can smile on the outside but be dying on the inside, which is what happened to him. Like, and I mean, I think we're all guilty of that. I do that probably 6 out of 7 days a week sometimes, but
yeah, he's definitely like quotable, and he's got some heavy stuff too, like that. Like that's yeah.
And he was really great in Death the Smoochie.
I don't know if you ever saw him. You
guys ever seen? I don't know if you've ever seen Death the Smoochie, but he played a really great character.
I love that. Yeah.
The fucking fake Rocky guy. I love that movie. It's so good.
Yeah, wasn't that what's his name? I can't think of his name right
Norton.
now. Yes, Ed Norton. Yep.
Yep.
That was a very good movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I like that.
Yeah, and his voice and stuff are crazy. Well, and I also hear, back when he was like doing Mork and Mindy and stuff, and he's like, ha ha ha, runner. He was on so much cocaine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so much cocaine.
Yeah.
Like, that's why he was so... But, I mean, still, at his older age, is not on cocaine. He still had that energy, but it wasn't as manic and crazy. It was more controlled. And,
yeah.
Yeah, but... Yeah, Weapons of Mass Distraction is a really good special, too. I think that's what it's called. Weapons of Mass Distraction.
I think that's what it's called, yeah.
The other joke's about, like, I think he talks about... Like, oh, how did we know that Iraq had weapons? How did we know that Iraq had weapons? Because we have the fucking receipt. And that was Bill Hicks. That was Bill Hicks.
Oh, okay.
That was Bill Hicks.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've heard that one. I didn't know if that was.
He's another comic I forgot to mention is Bill Hicks. I've really only seen, I think he did one special, and I've seen like little sets of his that were on like Comic View and stuff. He was like, that's another kind of comedy I really like to get into is dark shit, like highlighting dark shit, which is I have a joke about suicide and I have the joke about depression, so I like highlighting those really dark things and making them funny because it gives them less power. And I think that's another thing Robin Williams did, is he brought dark shit to light, and shit loses power when you laugh at it.
Well, yeah, they say comedy is tragedy plus timing, and obviously, like some of that stuff, you gotta wait, but like all of it's, you need to like have that time sometimes. Like obviously you can't do jokes about like super tragic things that just happened because
Kobe Bryant, that didn't work out very well.
Yep.
Like, oh, that's funny. Are you didn't even Jesus Christ. Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, you gotta wait for some of that stuff to get that timing down.
Yeah, I heard that it was I think it was Dave Attell or Jon Stewart, like the day after 9/11, they were making 9/11 jokes in New York. But that was different. That was a big thing and brought a lot of people together. But those are the stories you hear about. On Louis C.K., like, I mean, I don't want to steal his joke. I don't want to fuck up his joke, but he has a joke about, like, it's like, I don't want to fuck a dead kid, but if I found one in the field and it wasn't raining, I might give it a try. Like that joke got him banned from SNL for life. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Dang. Yeah, I didn't know he said that joke. That's nuts.
Yeah. Well,
But
he says the N word in one of his jokes. That's one of my favorite jokes.
Okay. So
It's like he just wishes he could say it. Like I walked out of the place and it was a white guy made my coffee, and all I could think was that N word made the shit out of my coffee. Like, and he like hits a deer, and he talks about he's like it's like, I hate deer. They're so stupid. They run in front of your car. Like, I hit one the other day, and I just, like, leaned out of my window and yelled, "You stupid N-word cunt deer!"
Oh, geez. Did he, like, say?
Yes,
Yeah, he said
said
it.
the word, yes. That was his, like, that was when he was, like, top of the world, $100 million movie Louis.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That was probably right towards the end of his.
Yeah, once the shit hit the fan.
Yeah. Now he's back.
Yeah, I mean, did he say that joke on SNL then?
The dead kid one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that
but I
one-
think he said have sex because on one
Well,
of his,
yeah.
he put it on his special where he said fuck. But
Yeah.
you can't say that on an SNL.
Yeah,
but,
I feel like that alone would have probably gotten him banned for a while.
Well, I think they banned him once and then they brought him back and they told him not to do something and he just like fuck it, and he just did it. Now he can never go back. But he's Louis C.K. man. He's Louis. Yeah.
Yeah, and Robin Williams has been in so many movies, and it's crazy how different his movies are.
Well, yeah, and I didn't know that whole time he was touring comedy too. The whole fucking time, like almost his whole life, up until like weeks before he died.
That's crazy. That's so much comedy.
And like that was another thing that really inspires me. I can't do it, but apparently he's like Jay-Z. He never wrote anything down.
Yeah, I heard
Which
that.
I don't know if I believe that about Jay-Z either. But if that's true, holy shit.
Yeah.
Because
if you can do it at that level and never write anything down, like
he's also was known for maybe stepping on other people's jokes on accident. But
yeah,
I don't know. I see him as maybe I just see him with rose-colored glasses, but he seems like too good of a dude to do that on purpose.
I was gonna say I've heard that, but I've heard he also didn't do it on purpose because he didn't write his stuff down.
Yep.
He would hear a joke and think he might have said it at one point, and so he apologized to anybody like that he ever did it to, or at least from what I've heard and read. But yeah,
He
used to cut people checks.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I heard a story about one time he was like, "Oh, sorry about that," and just give him some money.
Yeah,
like that's I think ethics at its purest right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't try to do that. Like, here you go. Here's what you deserve.
That'd be a dream job, man. A comedy writer. Oh my god. Except it would suck because you're always in the background and people are using your jokes.
Yeah.
But like to sit and write on like a sketch show or something would be so cool. Just in a room full of fucking comedians.
Mm-hmm.
Comedians are my people. Like us. Yeah. We're all a little fucked up.
No, I've always thought that would be the best job, is to be a comedy writer. You just write and write and write.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't want to write for like
well, write for someone like Conan or somebody who raises you up. Or I guess Lorne Michaels is really good at that too.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't know much. I don't watch SNL anymore, but yeah, you want to write for someone who's going to raise you up, not hold you down because you're writing all their jokes and they don't want to suck.
Yeah.
Like,
and
that's when jealousy comes in, I think.
Yeah, and I wouldn't want a quota. I wouldn't want like, hey, I need 60 jokes about this.
Yeah.
Like, I would want to write about material, like about a certain thing, but I wouldn't want to be like, hey, you need this many jokes. I'd be like, okay, you're gonna get a lot of shitty jokes because I need to get to that number. Like, I don't know. Maybe you'd be able to write decent jokes, but like that's not
the roast thing.
That's not how I do it.
Like the covering for the Comedy Central roast, that'd be cool. Like it'd be cool to just sit in a room with like Tony Hinchcliffe and Nikki Glaser and listen to them talk because they're fucking awesome. But Tony Hinchcliffe is too fast, like too quick. It like that the show like with Sydney is like giving him PTSD. Like that line was just so fucking quick and so crisp.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ. Yeah, he's great. He's Tony Hinchcliffe is another comic I didn't see. The list never ends.
Yeah.
I'll never be able to finish it.
Yeah, we could keep talking for hours, and I'm sure we could always just come up with more and more and more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably gonna re-listen to this, and